I signed my own death warrant, literally, but I didn't know it until I saw my signature on a document I never wrote. My name is David Chen. I'm 52 years old. I've built a career designing homes for wealthy people, mansions with river views, estates with guest houses bigger than most family homes. I've made good money, really good money, and now someone very close to me is trying to kill me for it. Before we go any further, let me know in the comments where you're watching from, and if you've ever trusted someone completely, only to discover they were plotting against you. Hit that like button and subscribe, because this story is going to show you that the people sleeping next to you might be the most dangerous ones in your life. Let me take you back to where it all started to unravel. 6 months ago, I was happy. God, I was so happy. My wife Sarah and I had just celebrated our 18th anniversary at this little Italian place downtown, the same restaurant where I proposed to her 2 decades ago. She wore that blue dress I loved, the one that made her eyes look like the ocean. We shared tiramisu. She laughed at my terrible jokes. Her hand felt warm in mine. 18 years, she said, smiling, and you haven't gotten any better at ordering wine. But I've gotten better at loving you, I said. She kissed me. Yes, you have. That was 6 months ago. Now I know she was already planning my funeral. I lived in a custom home I designed myself. 5,000 square feet overlooking the Willamette River in Portland, floor-to-ceiling windows. A kitchen with Italian marble countertops. 3 bedrooms, though only 2 of us lived there. Our daughter Emma had moved to Seattle for college 3 years ago. The 3rd bedroom was my office. That's where I kept everything. Blueprints, contracts, financial documents, my life's work in filing cabinets and flat files. Sarah never went in there. She said she didn't understand all that architect stuff. I believed her. My younger brother, Marcus, lived 20 minutes away. He'd always been the screw-up of the family. Dropped out of college, bounced between jobs, got divorced twice. 5 years ago, his 3rd business failed. Some kind of online retail thing that never got off the ground. He was drowning in debt, literally on the verge of bankruptcy. So, I bailed him out. $75,000. I didn't even make him sign a note. He's my brother, my only brother. Family helps family. Dave, I swear I'll pay you back, he said, tears in his eyes. Forget it, I told him. That's what brothers are for. He hugged me, hard. I remember thinking, this is what matters. Not money, family. Marcus got his act together after that. Got a job in pharmaceutical sales. Nothing glamorous, but steady. He started coming over for dinner every Sunday. He and Sarah would cook together while I watched football. They'd laugh in the kitchen. The smell of garlic and wine. The sound of chopping vegetables. It was nice. It was normal. I loved having my brother back in my life. 3 months ago, something changed. Small things at first. I'd wake up in the morning feeling off, tired, more tired than I should be. My hands would shake sometimes when I was drawing. I'd stand up too fast and the room would spin. I chalked it up to stress. I was working on a major project, a $12 million estate for a tech CEO. Long hours, late nights. You need to slow down, Sarah would say, rubbing my shoulders. You're not 25 anymore. I'm fine, I'd tell her. But I wasn't fine. The symptoms got worse. My heart would race for no reason. Sometimes I'd be sitting at my desk and suddenly my pulse would be hammering at 120 beats per minute. I'd feel dizzy, nauseous. I went to my doctor, Dr. Patel. I'd been seeing him for 15 years. He ran tests, EKG, blood work, echocardiogram. Your heart looks good, he said, studying the results. A little arrhythmia, but nothing alarming for a man your age. Could be stress, could be too much caffeine. Are you drinking a lot of coffee? 2 cups in the morning, I said. Same as always. Try cutting back. Get more sleep. Exercise. The usual. I nodded. I left. I felt relieved. The symptoms continued. Sarah was worried, or at least she acted worried. Maybe you should take some time off, she suggested one evening. We were in bed, her head on my shoulder. When's the last time we took a real vacation? After I finish the Hawthorne project, I said. Then we'll go somewhere. Greece, maybe. You've always wanted to see Santorini. I just want you healthy, baby. She kissed my forehead. Her lips felt cold. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Marcus noticed, too. Bro, you look like shit, he said one Sunday. We were in my garage, sorting through some old tools. When's the last time you slept? I sleep fine. You're pale. You're shaking. You need to see a doctor. I did. He says I'm fine. Marcus frowned. Maybe you need a second opinion. Looking back, I realized that was the moment he was checking, making sure I was deteriorating on schedule. Then came the golf game. That's when everything started to crack. It was a Thursday afternoon in early September. I had a rare day off, and my client, Robert Hawthorne, invited me to play 18 holes at Waverly Country Club. Robert was one of those old money Portland families. His grandfather founded a timber company back in the 1920s. We were on the 7th hole when we ran into someone. David Chen, a man in his 60s, white polo shirt, Titleist cap. I thought that was you. I didn't recognize him at first. Howard Brennan, he said, extending his hand. We met at the Thompson closing last year. I'm a notary. Right, I said, though I only vaguely remembered. Good to see you again. Likewise. Though I have to say, he hesitated, glancing at Robert, then back to me. I was sorry to hear about your health situation. Making those kinds of decisions can't be easy. I blinked. What decisions? Howard looked confused. The estate transfer. Your wife said you wanted to get everything in order before things got worse. My stomach dropped. What estate transfer? Now Howard looked genuinely uncomfortable. The one I notarized 6 weeks ago. You signed over the majority of your assets to your brother Marcus. Power of attorney, updated will, the whole package. Your wife was there. She said you'd just been diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's and wanted to make sure everything was handled properly. The world tilted. Robert caught my arm. Dave, you okay? I wasn't okay. I've never had Alzheimer's. I've never signed any documents transferring my assets. And 6 weeks ago, I was in Vancouver on a job site, nowhere near a notary's office. There must be some mistake, I said, my voice coming out strangled. Howard frowned. No mistake. I remember it clearly. You came to my office downtown, September 12th, around 2 p.m. You signed everything. Your wife and brother were both there as witnesses. September 12th. I was in Vancouver. I had receipts, hotel records, meeting notes. What did the signature look like? Like your signature, Howard said, now looking deeply concerned. Are you saying, I need to go? I said. I left my golf clubs, left Robert standing there confused. I got in my car and drove. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the steering wheel. When I got home, Sarah was in the kitchen. She had her phone out, texting someone. She looked up when I walked in, and for just a fraction of a second, less than a heartbeat, I saw something in her face. Fear. Then it was gone, replaced by her usual warm smile. Hey baby, you're home early. How was golf? I stared at her. This woman I'd loved for 18 years. This woman who knew how I took my coffee, what side of the bed I preferred, the scar on my shoulder from a childhood bike accident. This woman who had slept next to me for 6,000 nights. I ran into Howard Brennan, I said quietly. She didn't react. Not visibly, but I saw her fingers tighten around her phone. Oh? She said. Who's that? A notary. He says I signed documents 6 weeks ago, transferring my assets to Marcus. That's crazy, she said, but her voice was wrong. Too light, too casual. Must be some kind of mix-up. He says you were there. Silence. Just for 3 seconds. 3 seconds where the mask slipped and I saw something underneath. Something cold. Something calculating. Then she laughed. Dave, honey, I think your doctor was right. The stress is getting to you. Why would I? My coffee, I said suddenly. What? You make my coffee every morning. You've made my coffee every morning for 18 years. So, I want to see the coffee. Her face went pale. Actually, pale. What are you talking about? The coffee grounds, the container. I want to see it. David, you're scaring me.
I walked past her to the kitchen, opened the cupboard, pulled out the coffee container. It was heavier than it should be. I opened it. Under the layer of coffee grounds wrapped in a plastic bag were pills. White pills. Dozens of them. "David," I turned to her. "What are these?" "I don't know. I've never seen those before. Someone must have—" "Don't lie to me." We stared at each other. 18 years of marriage. And in that moment, I didn't recognize her at all. "How long?" I asked. "How long have you been poisoning me?" She didn't answer.
She just reached for her phone, and I knew. I knew she was texting Marcus. I knew they were in this together. I knew my wife and my brother, the two people I trusted most in the world, were trying to kill me. What I didn't know then, standing in my kitchen, with a bag of poison in my hands, was how deep this went. I didn't know about the life insurance policy. I didn't know about the forged will. I didn't know about the surveillance cameras I was about to find, hidden in my own home. And I definitely didn't know the worst part, the part that would make me question everything I thought I knew about my life. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, I had to figure out if I was going to live through the night. I did something in that moment that probably saved my life. I didn't confront her. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the pills at her. I didn't demand answers. Instead, I put the bag back in the coffee container, closed the lid, turned to Sarah, and I lied. "You're right," I said, forcing my voice to stay calm. "I'm just stressed, paranoid. I'm sorry." Her eyes narrowed, just slightly, calculating whether to believe me. "The pills are probably just, I don't know, something from the previous owners," I continued. "This house is only 5 years old, but maybe you should lie down," Sarah said, her voice suddenly soft again, concerned. "You look exhausted, baby." "Yeah, I think I will." I walked to the bedroom, closed the door, sat on the edge of the bed. My hands were shaking so violently I had to clasp them together. "Think, David, think." If I confronted them directly, I'd be dead by morning. They'd already poisoned me for months. They'd already forged documents. They were committed. And committed people don't stop halfway. I needed proof, real proof, the kind that would hold up in court. And I needed help. I waited until I heard Sarah on the phone in the kitchen. Her voice was low, urgent. I couldn't make out the words, but I knew she was calling Marcus. I grabbed my laptop, opened it quietly, started searching. Digitalis poisoning symptoms. The results made my blood run cold. Heart palpitations. Check. Fatigue. Check. Dizziness. Check. Nausea. Check. Confusion. Check. Tremors. Check. Every symptom I'd been experiencing for 3 months. Digitalis, also known as digoxin, a heart medication that in small doses can regulate heartbeat. In larger doses, it kills you. And because it's a heart medication, if you die from it, it looks like a heart attack. Natural causes. No investigation. Just a grieving widow and a supportive brother-in-law. I kept reading. Digitalis is derived from the foxglove plant. It's often used in heart medication, making poisoning difficult to detect unless specifically tested for. Chronic low-dose poisoning can mimic heart disease. They were smart. They were so goddamn smart. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Marcus. Hey bro, Sarah says you're not feeling well. Want me to come over?" I stared at the message. He wanted to come over, to check on me, to make sure I was properly broken down. I texted back. "I'm fine, just need rest." Marcus. "You sure? I can bring dinner." Me. "Tomorrow, I promise." Marcus. "Okay. Love you, bro. Love you, bro." I felt sick. Actually sick. Not from the poison, from the betrayal. I stayed in the bedroom for 2 hours, pretending to sleep, listening to Sarah moving around the house. At 7 p.m. she knocked softly. "David, I made soup. You should eat something." "Not hungry," I called out. "Just tired. You need to keep your strength up, honey." "I bet you want me to eat," I thought. "Maybe later." I heard her sigh, footsteps retreating. At 9 p.m., I heard her talking on the phone again, then the sound of the garage door opening, her car starting. She was leaving. I waited 5 minutes. Then I got up and went to my office. If they'd transferred my assets, there had to be documentation. And if they'd forged my signature, they'd need copies of real signatures to practice from.
I started going through my filing cabinets. Everything looked normal at first. Contracts, invoices, tax returns. Then I found the folder. It was labeled medical in Sarah's handwriting. Inside were documents I'd never seen before. A psychological evaluation from Dr. Jennifer Morrison, dated 2 months ago, stating that I was showing signs of early cognitive decline and paranoid ideation. I'd never met Dr. Jennifer Morrison. A letter from Dr. Patel, my actual doctor, recommending I consider a conservatorship due to increasing mental instability. Dr. Patel never wrote that. I'd just seen him 2 weeks ago and he'd said I was fine. A police report from 3 weeks ago, stating that I'd been found wandering in a grocery store parking lot, confused and disoriented, and that Sarah had to come pick me up. That never happened. 3 weeks ago, I was in Eugene, meeting with a client. They weren't just poisoning me, they were building a legal case that I was mentally incompetent. My phone buzzed again. Another text. But this time it wasn't from Marcus. It was from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown. Mr. Chen, my name is Griffin Thorne. I'm a private investigator. I need to speak with you urgently about your wife and brother. I have information that could save your life. Please call me at this number. Do not let them know you're calling. I stared at the message. It could be a trap. They could have set this up somehow. But what choice did I have? I went to the bathroom, turned on the shower to mask the sound, called the number. A man answered on the first ring. Mr. Chen? Who are you? I whispered. How did you get my number? My name is Griffin Thorne. I'm a private investigator. I was hired 6 weeks ago by your wife's previous attorney, Linda Martinez. She became concerned when Sarah came to her asking about ways to have you declared legally incompetent. My heart was pounding. Linda refused to help, Griffin continued, but she was worried enough that she hired me to look into it. What I found. Mr. Chen, you need to get out of that house. Tonight. What did you find? Can you meet me? Somewhere public. I thought fast. The Starbucks on Hawthorne, the one that's open until midnight. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Drive your own car. Make sure you're not followed. And Mr. Chen? Yeah. Don't drink anything your wife gives you. Not coffee, not water, nothing. The line went dead. I stood there in my bathroom. Shower running, steam filling the room. 6 weeks ago. That's when Sarah went to an attorney. That's when the documents were forged. That's when someone named Griffin Thorne started investigating my wife. I turned off the shower, went back to the bedroom, changed into jeans and a jacket. Sarah still wasn't back. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, my phone. I was halfway to the garage when I heard it. The front door opening. David! Sarah's voice. Are you awake? I froze. David, I brought you something. A special tea. It'll help you sleep. Help me sleep forever, I thought. I'm in the bathroom, I called out. Be right there. I heard her footsteps. Coming down the hall, coming toward the bedroom. I had maybe 30 seconds. I went to the window. We're on the 2nd floor, but there's a trellis outside. I designed this house. I know every exit. I opened the window as quietly as I could. David. She was right outside the bedroom door. I climbed out onto the trellis. It creaked under my weight, but held. I climbed down as fast as I could, my dress shoes slipping on the wooden slats. I heard the bedroom door open. David! I dropped the last 6 feet, landed hard. My ankle screamed, but I didn't care. I ran to the side of the house. My car was in the garage, but I couldn't risk going in there. I ran down the driveway, down the street. My ankle throbbing with every step. Behind me, I heard Sarah's voice, sharp now, angry. David! David! Then I heard her on the phone. He knows. He ran. No, I don't know where. Marcus, he knows. I kept running until I hit the main road, flagged down a taxi. Hawthorne Boulevard. I gasped. Starbucks. Fast! The driver, a woman in her 50s, glanced at me in the mirror. You okay, buddy? No, I said honestly, but I will be. The taxi pulled away from the curb. I looked back at my house, my beautiful house, the one I'd designed, the one I'd built, the one I'd imagined growing old in. Someone was standing in the driveway. Sarah. Even from a distance, I could see her face in the porch light. She wasn't crying. She wasn't worried. She was furious. The Starbucks was mostly empty. A few college students with laptops, a barista wiping down counters. I ordered a black coffee, sealed, nothing anyone could have tampered with, and sat in the back corner where I could see the door. My phone kept buzzing. Sarah. David, where are you? Sarah. Please come home. We need to talk. Sarah. You're not thinking clearly. Come home. Marcus. Bro, Sarah's worried sick. Where'd you go? Marcus. Seriously, man, this isn't funny. Call me. I turned the phone to silent. At 10:42 p.m., a man walked in. 50s, gray hair, expensive suit. He scanned the room, saw me, and walked over. Mr. Chen. Griffin Thorne. He sat down across from me, pulled out a tablet. I'm going to show you something, he said, and I want you to stay calm. I'm past calm. Fair enough. He turned the tablet toward me. It was a photograph of Sarah and Marcus at a restaurant, holding hands across the table, kissing. The timestamp said, 3 years ago. They've been having an affair, Griffin said quietly, for at least 5 years, probably longer. The room spun. 5 years. Emma was 15 5 years ago, still living at home. There's more, Griffin said. He swiped to another image. A document, a life insurance policy, on me, $5 million, issued 18 months ago. Beneficiary, Sarah Chen. You're insured for $5 million, Griffin said. The policy has a suicide clause. If you die by suicide within the first 2 years, she gets nothing. But if you die of natural causes after 18 months, she gets everything, I finished. And according to the forged will that was filed 6 weeks ago, your business assets, your firm, your intellectual property, your real estate holdings, all go to Marcus. I felt numb. They've thought of everything, I said. Almost everything, Griffin said. He swiped to another document. They didn't count on Linda Martinez having a conscience, and they didn't count on me. What do we do? First, we get you somewhere safe. They know you've run. They'll be looking for you. Second, we document everything. Third, we get you to a hospital for a full toxicology screen. If they've been poisoning you, we need proof. And then, Griffin's face was grim. Then we prove that your wife and brother are trying to commit murder. We left through the back exit. Griffin's car was a black Mercedes, nondescript but expensive. Where are we going? I asked. I have a colleague, Rick Sanchez. He's a forensic toxicologist at OHSU. He's agreed to meet us at his lab tonight. Tonight, Mr. Chen, you've been systematically poisoned for months. We need to know what we're dealing with. If it's digitalis, you may need treatment. If it's something else, he didn't finish the sentence. We drove in silence for a few minutes. Then Griffin said, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "When did you first suspect?" "I thought about it. Today, at the golf course. Before that, I trusted them completely. That's what makes betrayal so effective," Griffin said quietly. "The people you trust most have the most access, the most opportunity, and you never see it coming because you're not looking for it. Have you seen cases like this before? 3 times in my career. Twice it was a spouse, once it was a son, all motivated by money. What happened to them? 2 are in prison. 1 died before the trial." "Which one?" Griffin glanced at me. "The one who didn't act fast enough." OHSU's campus was quiet at this hour. Griffin led me through a side entrance to the research building. A man in his 40s was waiting in a lab. Hispanic, tired eyes, white coat. "Rick," Griffin said. "This is David Chen." Rick nodded. "Mr. Chen, Griffin told me your situation. I need to take blood, urine, and hair samples. The hair is especially important. It'll show us a timeline of what you've been exposed to. How long will it take? For preliminary results, a few hours. For comprehensive analysis, 2 to 3 days." "Do it," I said. Rick worked quickly and efficiently, drew blood from my arm, collected urine samples, cut a small sample of hair from near my scalp. "I'm also going to do a cardiac enzyme test," he said. "If you've been poisoned with digitalis, your heart may have sustained damage. That thought terrified me more than anything. My heart, the center of me, damaged by people I loved. While we waited for the initial results, Griffin showed me more of what he'd uncovered. They were careful, he said. Very careful. But nobody's perfect. He pulled up bank records. 3 months ago, Marcus made a cash withdrawal of $2,000. 2 days later, Sarah visited a compounding pharmacy in Beaverton, paid cash for a prescription that doesn't exist in any database I can access. What pharmacy? It closed 2 weeks ago. Owner claims all records were destroyed in a computer malfunction. Convenient. Very. Griffin swiped to another image. This is surveillance footage from your neighborhood. 3 separate occasions over the past month when Marcus entered your house while you were at work. The footage showed Marcus using a key, walking in the front door, like he owned the place. Sarah gave him a key, I said. More than that. Watch this. The next clip showed Marcus in my office, at my desk, going through my files. He was looking for documents, Griffin said. Anything he needed to forge. He probably photographed your signature dozens of times. All while Sarah kept me distracted. She was the inside agent. He was the executor, and I was the mark. Griffin looked at me with something like sympathy. You were the victim, Mr. Chen. There's a difference. At 2:17 a.m., Rick came back into the room. His face told me everything before he said a word. Digitalis, he said. High levels. You've been ingesting approximately 0.25 milligrams daily for at least 3 months. Is that a lot? A therapeutic dose is 0.115 to 0.25 milligrams per day. You've been at the high end of therapeutic. Any more, and you'd be in the toxic range. So they were being careful, keeping me sick but not killing me yet. It looks that way. The goal was probably to create a pattern of cardiac symptoms, establish heart disease, then increase the dose. What would have happened if I'd kept drinking the coffee? Rick's expression darkened. Within 2 weeks, cardiac arrest. It would have looked completely natural. Just a man with a bad heart who pushed himself too hard. I felt cold all over. Can you testify to this? Griffin asked. Absolutely. I'm documenting everything. This is attempted murder, no question. Is there permanent damage? I asked. Some arrhythmia. Nothing that won't heal if you stop exposure immediately. You were lucky, Mr. Chen. Very lucky. Lucky. I'd been poisoned for 3 months by my wife and brother, but I was lucky. Griffin drove me to a hotel, not one of the nice downtown places where someone might recognize me. A Holiday Inn Express near the airport. Stay here tonight, he said. Tomorrow we go to the police. But first, we need to secure more evidence. What kind of evidence? He smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. The kind they don't know we have yet. He handed me a shopping bag. Burner phone, cash, some clothes. Don't use your credit cards. Don't call anyone you know. As far as Sarah and Marcus are concerned, you've disappeared. What are you going to do? I'm going to make them panic, Griffin said. People make mistakes when they panic. I lay in the hotel bed, staring at the ceiling. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Sarah's face. The way she'd looked at me this morning, making my coffee. The way she'd kissed my forehead, all while poisoning me. And Marcus, my little brother, the one I'd taught to ride a bike, the one I'd bailed out of debt, the one who called me bro and said he loved me while planning my murder. $5 million. That's what my life was worth to them. $5 million and whatever assets Marcus would inherit. I thought about Emma, our daughter, away at college in Seattle. Did she know? Was she part of this? No. Emma loved me. I knew she did. But then again, I'd thought Sarah loved me too. The burner phone rang at 3:45 a.m. It's Griffin. I need you to see something. He texted me a link. It was surveillance footage. From where? I wasn't sure at first. Then I recognized the kitchen. My kitchen. How did you? I installed cameras in your house 2 weeks ago. Hidden. I had a feeling things were going to escalate. The footage showed Sarah and Marcus. In my kitchen. Tonight. After I ran. Sarah was pacing. Furious. Can't believe you let this happen, she was saying. Me? You're the one who didn't hide the pills well enough. I hid them fine. He shouldn't have been going through the cupboards. Well, he did, and now he's gone. And he knows, Sarah. Marcus ran his hands through his hair. What if he goes to the police? He won't, Sarah said, but she didn't sound confident. Yeah, he doesn't have proof. He has the pills. We'll say someone planted them. We'll say he's the one who's mentally ill. We have the documents. We have Dr. Morrison's evaluation. That we paid her to fake. Marcus, shut up. Silence. Then Sarah said, more calmly, we stick to the plan. If he shows up at a hospital or police station, we produce the competency documents. We say he's having a psychotic break. We have him committed. And if he doesn't show up, Sarah smiled. It was a terrible smile. Then we report him missing. Disturbed suicidal husband with a history of mental health issues. When they find his body, when we make sure they find his body, Marcus corrected, it'll look like exactly what it is. A tragedy. I turned off the phone. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. When they find his body, they weren't planning to just let me disappear. They were planning to find me and kill me and make it look like suicide. Griffin called back 5 minutes later. Did you watch it? Yeah. My voice was shaking. I'm sending that to the police in the morning, along with Rick's toxicology report. They'll have enough to bring them both in for questioning. What if they run? I have people watching your house. If they try to leave, I'll know. Griffin, thank you. Don't thank me yet, Mr. Chen. We still have a long way to go. I sat on the edge of the hotel bed, burner phone in my hand. Somewhere in Portland, Sarah was sleeping in our bed, in the house I built, probably planning how to find me. Somewhere in Portland, Marcus was sleeping too, probably dreaming about the money he was going to inherit. But I wasn't going to give them that satisfaction. I wasn't going to disappear. I wasn't going to die. And I sure as hell wasn't going to let them get away with this. Tomorrow I was going to the police. Tomorrow I was going to tell them everything. But what I didn't know yet, what would only be revealed in the next 24 hours, was that the insurance policy and the forged will were just the beginning. There was something else, something worse, something that would make me question everything I thought I knew about my entire life. But first, I had to survive the night. I didn't sleep. I lay in that hotel bed, staring at the textured ceiling, listening to trucks on the highway outside. Every sound made me jump, every car door slamming, every voice in the hallway. At 6:01 a.m., my burner phone rang. Griffin, meet me at the Central Precinct at 8 a.m. I've already spoken to Detective Rachel Torres. She's with the Financial Crimes Unit. She'll want to hear your story. What about Sarah and Marcus? Still at your house. My guys have been watching all night. Neither of them has left. Are they? What are they doing? A pause. Do you really want to know? Yes. They're going through your office, removing documents. They spent 2 hours shredding papers. Whatever evidence was in that house, they're destroying it. I closed my eyes. The medical files. The forged documents. Probably, but it doesn't matter. I have copies of everything. Griffin, what if they come after me? What if they figure out where I am? They won't. And I have someone outside your hotel. You're safe. Safe. I didn't feel safe. I felt like a man who just discovered his entire life was a lie. I showered, put on the clothes Griffin had given me. Jeans, a plain gray t-shirt, a jacket. Not my usual style. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked old, 52 years old. But in that moment, I looked 70. My hair was grayer than I remembered. My face was gaunt. The poison had taken its toll. My hands were still shaking, not from the digitalis, from rage. Griffin picked me up at 7:30. We drove through Portland's morning traffic in silence. Are you ready for this? He finally asked. Ready to tell the police my wife is trying to kill me? No, not really. It's going to be hard. They'll ask difficult questions about your marriage, about your finances, about your relationship with your brother. I'll tell them the truth. The truth is going to hurt. I looked at him. It already does. Central Precinct was a concrete building downtown. We went through security. Griffin led me to the third floor. Detective Rachel Torres was waiting in an interview room. She was younger than I expected, maybe 35, dark hair pulled back, sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Mr. Chen," she said, shaking my hand. "I'm Detective Torres. Please sit down." I sat. Griffin sat next to me. "Mr. Thorne has briefed me on your situation," Torres said, "but I need to hear it from you. Start from the beginning." So I told her. Everything. The symptoms, the golf game, the pills in the coffee, the forged documents, the life insurance policy, the surveillance video from last night. She took notes, didn't interrupt, just listened. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "Mr. Chen, do you understand how serious these accusations are?" "I'm not accusing them of anything," I said. "I'm telling you they're trying to murder me. Do you have the pills you found?" My stomach sank. "No, I left them in the house. I ran. So we don't have physical evidence of the poison, but we have the toxicology report," Griffin interjected. "Rick Sanchez at OHSU can confirm digitalis in David's system. That proves he ingested digitalis. It doesn't prove his wife gave it to him. We have surveillance footage," Griffin continued, "of Sarah and Marcus discussing the murder. I can get you that footage right now." Torres looked at him. "Footage you obtained by illegally installing cameras in Mr. Chen's home, without his knowledge. I had his implicit consent. No judge is going to see it that way." My heart was sinking. "So, what are you saying? You won't investigate?" "I'm saying, building a case for attempted murder is complicated. What you have is circumstantial. Good, circumstantial evidence, but circumstantial nonetheless. There are forged documents, which are now missing, according to Mr. Thorne. The life insurance policy is legal. People take out insurance policies all the time." "Detective," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "are you going to help me or not?" She looked at me. Her expression softened slightly. "Mr. Chen, I believe you, but believing you and proving it in court are two different things. What I can do is bring your wife and brother in for questioning, put pressure on them, see if one of them cracks. And if they don't, then we build the case piece by piece. Financial records, phone records, interviews with witnesses. It takes time." "I don't have time," I said. "They think I'm a loose end. They're going to come after me." "Then we need to make sure you're protected." Torres made calls, arranged for a patrol car to be stationed outside my hotel, assigned a protective detail. "What about my daughter?" I asked suddenly. "Emma, she's in Seattle. What if they... Do you think they'd go after her?" I thought about it. "I don't know. I don't know what they're capable of anymore." Torres nodded. "Give me her information. I'll have Seattle PD do a welfare check." I wrote down Emma's address, her phone number. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely write. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now we bring them in," Torres said. "Separately. We interview them. We see how their stories match up. They'll have their stories straight. Maybe, but people lie differently under pressure. And Mr. Thorne's surveillance footage, even if it's not admissible in court, tells me what questions to ask." Griffin leaned forward. "Detective, there's something else you should know." "What?" "I've been investigating Sarah and Marcus for 6 weeks. I've uncovered some things about their relationship that David doesn't know yet." I turned to him. "What things?" Griffin looked uncomfortable. "Maybe we should discuss this privately." "What things, Griffin?" He sighed. "The affair. It's not 5 years. It's longer. Much longer." My blood ran cold. "How long?" "At least 20 years. The room tilted. 20 years. Emma was 19. "No," I said. "No, that's not. I have hotel records, credit card receipts, text messages recovered from old phones. They've been together since before you were married." I couldn't breathe. "David, is Emma his?" The words came out strangled. "Is my daughter his?" Griffin pulled out a folder, slid a document across the table. It was a DNA test, dated 3 weeks ago. Sample 1, Emma Chen. Sample 2, Marcus Chen. Probability of paternity, 99.97%. The room was spinning. I stood up, sat down, stood up again. "I need air." Mr. Chen, I need AR. Griffin led me outside, to a small courtyard behind the precinct building. I bent over, hands on my knees, gasping. When did you find this? I managed to ask. 2 weeks ago. I thought you should know before we went to the police. Why didn't you tell me? Because I knew it would destroy you, and you needed to be focused on staying alive. I laughed. It was a horrible sound. Emma, my daughter. She's not my daughter. Biologically, no. But David, you raised her. You're her father in every way that matters. Does she know? I don't think so. There's no evidence Sarah or Marcus ever told her. Oh, God. I sat down on a concrete bench. This whole time, my whole marriage, my whole life, it was all a lie. David, I built that house for us, for our family. I worked 80-hour weeks to give them a good life, and she was fucking my brother the entire time. She was pregnant with his child, and she let me think. I couldn't finish. Griffin sat next to me, said nothing, just sat there while I processed the fact that my entire existence had been a fraud. After 10 minutes, I went back inside. Torres was waiting. I know about the DNA test, she said quietly. I'm sorry. Does this change anything? Legally? It establishes motive. It shows premeditation. Sarah has been deceiving you for 2 decades. This wasn't a sudden decision to kill you for money. This was a long-term plan. But Emma, I said, she can't know about this. Not yet. Not like this. Mr. Chen, if your wife and brother go to trial, this will come out. I don't care about the trial. I care about my daughter. She's 19. She's an adult. She has a right to know. No, I stood up. You tell her when I'm ready. Not before. Torres exchanged a glance with Griffin. Okay, she said finally. We'll wait. At 10 a.m., 2 uniformed officers brought Sarah into the precinct. I watched through a one-way mirror as they led her into an interview room. She looked perfect, makeup flawless, hair styled, designer jeans and a cashmere sweater. She looked like a woman whose husband had just gone missing, concerned, worried, not like a woman who'd been poisoning that husband for 3 months. Torres went into the room. Mrs. Chen, thank you for coming in. Of course. Have you found David? Is he okay? That's what we're trying to determine. When did you last see your husband? Yesterday evening, around 6 p.m. He seemed agitated, paranoid. He's been under a lot of stress lately. What kind of stress? Work stress and health issues. His doctor has been concerned about his heart. Which doctor? Dr. Patel. David's been seeing him for years. And has Dr. Patel prescribed any medications? A pause. Just a fraction of a second. Some blood pressure medication, I think. David doesn't always tell me about his prescriptions. What about digitalis? Has he ever been prescribed digitalis? Sarah's face didn't change, but I saw her fingers tighten on the arm of her chair. I don't think so. What's digitalis? It's a heart medication, also a poison if taken in large doses. I don't understand what this has to do with finding David. Torres leaned forward. Mrs. Chen, when did your relationship with Marcus Chen begin? Sarah went very still. Marcus is my brother-in-law. I'm asking when your romantic relationship began. I don't have a romantic relationship with Marcus. We have hotel records, credit card receipts, witness statements. That's ridiculous. Is it? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you've been having an affair with your husband's brother for at least 20 years. Sarah's mask finally cracked. I want a lawyer. They brought Marcus in an hour later. He looked worse than Sarah. Unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt. He looked like a man who hadn't slept. Good. Torres started with the same questions. When did you last see David? How would you describe his mental state? Marcus gave similar answers. Stressed, paranoid, not himself. Then Torres said, tell me about the life insurance policy. What life insurance policy? The $5 million policy on your brother, the one Sarah took out 18 months ago. Marcus's face went pale. I don't know anything about that. Really? Because your name appears on several documents related to David's estate. Power of attorney, Updated will. All signed 6 weeks ago. David asked me to handle those things. He was worried about his mental health. Funny thing about those documents, Torres said. The notary who witnessed them says David was in Vancouver that day, 4 hours away. Marcus said nothing. So either the notary is lying, or someone forged David's signature. I don't know anything about forgery. What about digitalis? Do you know anything about that? About what? It's a poison. Someone's been putting it in David's coffee for the past 3 months. Marcus's hands started shaking. I would never hurt my brother. But you did hurt him. You've been sleeping with his wife. You've been planning to steal his assets. And you've been helping Sarah poison him. That's not true. Then where is he, Marcus? Where's your brother? I don't know. Did you kill him? Did things escalate? Did you and Sarah panic and kill him? No! He's alive! He ran off, but he's alive. Torres leaned back. How do you know he ran off? Marcus realized his mistake. Sarah told me, but Sarah said she didn't know where he went. Silence. You're lying, Marcus. Both of you are lying. And eventually I'm going to prove it. I watched them separately. Sarah in one interview room, Marcus in another. Neither of them broke. They both lawyered up, stopped answering questions. Torres came out, frustrated. They're not giving us anything. What now? I asked. Now we dig. Financial records, phone records. I'm getting warrants for everything. How long will that take? Days, maybe weeks. I don't have weeks. Mr. Chen, you're under police protection. They can't get to you. You don't know them like I do. They're smart. They're patient. They'll find a way. Griffin put a hand on my shoulder. We need to make them panic, force their hand. How? He smiled. We let them know you're alive, and you're talking. At 2:01 p.m., Griffin posted something on my Facebook account. Just 3 words. I know everything. Within 5 minutes, my phone, my real phone, not the burner, started blowing up. Sarah. David, please call me. We need to talk. Marcus. Bro, whatever you think you know, you're wrong. Sarah. I love you. Please come home. Marcus. You're making a huge mistake. Sarah. The police are lying to you. They're trying to turn you against your family. Family. The word made me sick. Then a text from a number I didn't recognize. Dad, it's Emma. Mom says you're missing. What's going on? My heart clenched. Emma. I looked at Griffin. Can I call her? Not from your phone. They might be monitoring it. He handed me his phone. Use this. I dialed Emma's number with shaking hands. She answered on the first ring. Dad. Just hearing her voice broke something inside me. Emma. Baby. Are you okay? Am I okay? Dad, what's happening? Mom called me at 3 a.m. saying you disappeared. She's freaking out. Uncle Marcus is freaking out. Where are you? I'm safe. That's all you need to know right now. Dad, you're scaring me. How do you tell your daughter that her mother is trying to kill you, that her uncle is her biological father, that her entire life has been built on lies? Emma, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Don't tell your mother I called you. Don't tell Marcus. Don't tell anyone. Why not? Because they're not who you think they are. Silence. Then, Dad, are you feeling okay? Mom said you've been having some mental health issues. I'm not crazy, Emma. I didn't say you were crazy, but your mother has been poisoning me, she and Marcus. For months, they're trying to kill me. A long, long silence. Dad, that's insane. I know how it sounds, but I have proof. Toxicology reports, surveillance footage. They've been planning this for years. I don't believe you. The words went like a knife. Emma, my mother would never hurt you. Uncle Marcus would never hurt you. They love you. Emma, please. No, Dad. I think you need help. Real help. I think you need to come home and see a doctor. They'd gotten to her. Sarah and Marcus had already poisoned my daughter against me. Emma, listen. I have to go. I'm calling Mom. Emma, don't. The line went dead. I stood there, Griffin's phone in my hand, and felt something inside me finally break. My wife had betrayed me. My brother had betrayed me. And now my daughter. The one person I thought would believe me, thought I was crazy. "She doesn't believe me," I said. Griffin took the phone back gently. "Give her time. Once the evidence comes out." "You heard her. They've already turned her against me. David, they took everything. My wife, my brother, my daughter, my house, my life. They took everything." My voice was rising. I couldn't stop it. And for what? Money, $5 million. That's what I was worth to them? Torres appeared in the doorway. "Mr. Chen, I need you to calm down." "Calm down! Calm down!" "My entire life is a lie, and you want me to calm down. I understand you're upset. You don't understand anything." Griffin grabbed my shoulders. "David, look at me, look at me." I looked at him. "You are not going to let them win. Do you hear me? You're going to fight, you are going to survive, and you are going to make them pay for what they did." "How?" My voice cracked. "How do I fight when everyone thinks I'm crazy?" "You fight with the truth. And the truth is on our side." We went back to the hotel. Torres assigned 2 officers to guard my door. I sat on the bed, head in my hands. My phone, my real phone, kept buzzing. "Sarah." "David." Emma called me. "She's worried about you." "Sarah, please come home. We can work this out." "Marcus, bro, I don't know what the police told you, but it's not true." "Marcus, we're family. We'll always be family. Family." I picked up the burner phone, called Griffin. "I want to go back," I said. "Go back where?" "To the house." "My house. I want to see it one more time before this all falls apart." "David, that's not a good idea." "I don't care. I built that house. I designed every inch of it, and they took it from me. I want to see it. They might be there." "Good. Let them see me. Let them know I'm not hiding." A long pause. "Okay," Griffin said finally, "but I'm coming with you, and so are 2 police officers." "Fine. When?" "Tomorrow morning, early, before Sarah wakes up." "David, what are you planning?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know yet. All I knew was that I needed to go back to that house, the house I'd built with my own hands, the house where I'd lived with people who wanted me dead, the house where I was going to find the final piece of evidence that would destroy them both, because there was something there, something I'd missed, something that would prove everything. I just had to figure out what it was. Before they figured out I was coming back, I didn't sleep that night either. I lay in the hotel bed staring at my phone, looking at old photos of Sarah and me at our wedding, her in white, smiling at the camera, me looking at her like she was the only person in the world. Photos of Emma as a baby, me holding her in the hospital, Sarah next to me, exhausted but radiant. Photos of Marcus at Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas mornings, birthday parties, 20 years of lies, all documented in smiling photographs. I deleted every single one. At 5 a.m., Griffin picked me up. 2 patrol cars followed us. 4 officers total. "Are you sure about this?" Griffin asked as we drove through empty Portland streets. "No," I said honestly, "but I need to do it anyway." "What are you looking for?" "I'll know it when I see it." The sun was just starting to rise when we pulled up to my house. My beautiful house, the one I'd designed from scratch. Floor-to-ceiling windows to catch the morning light. River stone fireplace I'd built myself. Oak floors I'd personally selected. Sarah's car was in the driveway. Marcus's truck was parked on the street. "They're both here," one of the officers said. "Good," I replied. Griffin looked at me. "David, what are you planning?" "I'm going to walk into my house. If they try to stop me, that's on them." "This is a bad idea." "Probably." I got out of the car. The officers followed me up the driveway. Griffin stayed close. I used my key, the one they hadn't thought to take from me, and opened the front door. The house was quiet, too quiet. I stepped inside. The morning light was streaming through those floor-to-ceiling windows I'd designed. Everything looked normal. The same furniture, the same artwork on the walls, the same smell, coffee and lavender. Home, except it wasn't home anymore. It was a crime scene. "Sarah," I called out. "Marcus." Footsteps on the stairs. Sarah appeared. She was in a robe, hair messy, no makeup. She looked tired, scared. When she saw me, her face went through a series of expressions. Relief, confusion, fear, and then, just for a second, something else. Calculation. "David," she breathed. "Oh my God, David. You're okay." She started toward me. "Don't," I said. She stopped. "David, where have you been? I've been so worried." "Save it." Marcus appeared behind her, shirtless, wearing sweatpants. Shirtless, in my house, at 5 a.m. "Bro," he said. His voice was cautious. "What's going on? Why are there cops here?" I looked at him, really looked at him, and suddenly I saw it. The nose, the shape of his eyes, the way he held his mouth. Emma had those same features. My daughter, his daughter, looked just like him. How had I never seen it before? "You slept here last night," I said quietly. "I stayed over because Sarah was upset." "In what room?" Silence. "What room did you sleep in, Marcus?" Sarah's face went pale. "David, this isn't what it looks like." "The master bedroom," I said. It wasn't a question. "You slept in my bed." "David, how long?" I asked. "How long have you been sleeping in my bed when I'm not here?" Marcus and Sarah exchanged a glance. That glance told me everything. Years. "Officer," I said, not taking my eyes off them. "I want them out of my house." "Mr. Chen, this is still technically a shared marital residence. I want them out." The next hour was chaos. Sarah, screaming that I was crazy, that she'd done nothing wrong, that I was having a mental breakdown. Marcus trying to play peacemaker. "Bro, let's just calm down and talk about this." "Don't call me bro. Don't ever call me that again." The police, trying to mediate. Torres, showing up. More questions. Finally, Torres pulled Sarah and Marcus aside. "We need you both to come to the station. We have some follow-up questions." "Are we being arrested?" Sarah demanded. "Not at this time, but we strongly suggest you cooperate." Sarah looked at me one last time. The mask was completely gone now. I could see the real her underneath. Cold, calculating, hateful. "This isn't over," she said quietly. "You're right," I replied. "It's not." After they left, I stood in my kitchen, where Sarah had made my coffee every morning for 18 years, where she'd slowly, methodically, lovingly poisoned me. Griffin came in. "David, we should go. We got what we needed." "No," I said. "There's something here, something I'm missing." "What?" "I don't know yet." I started going through the cupboards, looking for more pills, more evidence. Nothing. I checked the coffee maker. Nothing. I went to my office. The filing cabinets were mostly empty. They'd taken everything. I sat at my desk, put my head in my hands. Think, David, think. What would they hide? What would they keep? And then I remembered. The security system. When I built this house, I installed a state-of-the-art security system. Cameras, motion sensors, the works. But there was one camera Sarah didn't know about. A hidden camera in the kitchen. I'd installed it after we had a break-in 2 years ago. Just as a backup. I'd never told anyone about it. Not even Sarah. The footage fed to a hard drive hidden in the basement, behind a false panel I'd built myself. "Griffin," I said, "come with me." We went to the basement, to the far corner where I kept old tools and Christmas decorations. I moved a shelf, pulled open the false panel. The hard drive was still there. "What is that?" Griffin asked. "Insurance," I said. We took it back upstairs, plugged it into my laptop. The system had recorded everything, 24 hours a day, for 2 years. I started scrolling through footage, looking for something, anything. I found it at timestamp 6:42 a.m., 3 months ago. Sarah in the kitchen making coffee. Normal morning routine. Except, she opened the cupboard, took out a small plastic bag, the one I'd found yesterday. She counted out 2 white pills, crushed them with the back of a spoon, stirred the powder into my coffee. Then she made her own coffee. No pills. She sat down at the kitchen table and waited for me to come downstairs. When I appeared in the frame, she smiled, that warm, loving smile. "Good morning, baby," she said on the video. "Coffee's ready. I watched myself kiss her. Take the coffee. Drink it. Perfect as always, Video Me said. She watched me drink. The whole cup. Her eyes never leaving me. How are you feeling? She asked. A little tired, but okay. Maybe you should take it easy today. I will. She smiled again. And in that smile, I saw satisfaction. We found 17 more videos just like it. Different days, same routine. Make coffee, crush pills, stir, serve, watch. Sometimes Marcus was there too, sitting at the table, watching me drink poison with his sister-in-law, with his lover, with the mother of his child. In one video from 6 weeks ago after I'd left for work, they celebrated. Only a few more months, Sarah said. Then we're free, Marcus replied. They kissed. In my kitchen, at my table, in my house. Griffin was on the phone with Torres immediately. We have it. Video evidence, multiple instances. She's on camera poisoning him. I could hear Torres's response even though I wasn't on the call. Don't touch anything. I'm getting a warrant. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I kept watching the videos. There was one from last week, Sarah and Marcus in my office, going through my files. The will is set, Marcus was saying. Once he's gone, I get the business, the intellectual property, the real estate holdings. And I get the insurance money, Sarah added. 5 million. When should we increase the dose? Soon, maybe next week. We need to make it look natural. What if someone suspects? They won't. We have the medical records, the diagnosis of dementia. Even if someone does an autopsy, they'll just see an old man with heart problems. He's not that old. Old enough, Sarah said coldly, and getting older every day. They laughed. They actually laughed. I closed the laptop. Griffin was staring at me. David, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just tell me this is enough. It's enough. This is premeditated attempted murder. Conspiracy, fraud. They're both going to prison for a long time. Good. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the river. This house, this beautiful house. I'd built it thinking it would be my forever home, the place where I'd grow old with Sarah, where Emma would bring my grandchildren. Instead, it was the place where my wife tried to kill me. I'm selling it, I said. What? This house? I'm selling it. I never want to see it again. Torres arrived with 3 other officers and a forensics team. They photographed everything, collected the hard drive, took statements. We have enough to arrest them both, Torres said. I'm putting out warrants now. Where are they? We have units at Sarah's lawyer's office and at Marcus's apartment. We'll find them. What if they run? They won't get far. But I wasn't convinced. Sarah and Marcus had been planning this for years. Decades, maybe. They were smart, careful. They'd have a contingency plan. At 11 a.m., my burner phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. Hello? David, Sarah's voice. We need to talk. My blood ran cold. How did you get this number? I have my ways. Listen to me carefully. You're making a huge mistake. The only mistake was trusting you. I never wanted to hurt you. I laughed. It was a bitter sound. You poisoned me for 3 months. I had no choice. There's always a choice. Not when you're trapped. Not when you've spent 20 years in a loveless marriage. 20 years, I interrupted. Emma is 19. You were pregnant with Marcus's child when you married me. Silence. Then, you know. I know everything. Then you know why I had to do this. I couldn't leave you. You'd get custody of Emma. You'd take the money. I'd have nothing. So you decided to kill me instead. I decided to be free, Sarah said, her voice hard now. Free of you. Free of this sham marriage. Free to be with the man I actually love. You could have just divorced me and split everything 50-50. Watch you move on with your life while I struggled. No, this was better. Better for who? For me. For Marcus. For us. What about Emma? A pause. Emma will understand eventually. She thinks I'm crazy. You told her I'm crazy. Because you are. Paranoid. Delusional. Everyone will think that when this is over. When what is over? When they find your body, Sarah said calmly. When you finally do what you should have done months ago. When you kill yourself. My heart stopped. I'm not going to kill myself, aren't you? You're depressed, mentally unstable. You've been saying crazy things about your loving wife, about your devoted brother. You ran away. You're in hiding. And eventually, when the stress becomes too much, you're insane. I'm practical. And David, I want you to know something. What? I never loved you. Not for one single day. Every time you touched me, I thought of Marcus. Every time you said you loved me, I wanted to scream. Every moment of our marriage was a lie. The words should have hurt, but I felt nothing, just emptiness. You're pathetic, I said. Maybe, but I'm going to be a rich, pathetic woman, and you're going to be dead. The police have everything, Sarah. The videos, the toxicology reports, the forged documents. You're going to prison. We'll see about that. The line went dead. I stood there, phone in my hand, and felt something shift inside me. She was right about one thing. This wasn't over. Not yet. Because Sarah and Marcus weren't the type to just surrender. They'd fight. They'd run. They'd do whatever it took to avoid consequences. And they still thought they could win. Griffin, I said, where would they go? If they were running, where would they go? He thought about it. Somewhere they have resources. Money. A place they could disappear. They've been planning this for years. They have to have an escape plan. What are you thinking? I'm thinking we need to find them before they disappear. Torres came over. We have officers at every airport, bus station, and train depot. If they try to leave the state, we'll catch them. They're not leaving the state, I said. Not yet. They're too smart for that. Then where are they? I thought about Sarah, about Marcus, about 20 years of lies, about all the places we'd been together. And then I knew. The cabin, I said. What cabin? Marcus has a cabin on Mount Hood. He bought it 5 years ago. Said it was a hunting cabin. So he bought it right after I bailed him out of debt. With my money. It's remote, off the grid, the perfect place to hide. Griffin was already on his laptop. What's the address? I don't know the exact address, but I know how to get there. Torres looked at me. Mr. Chen, if you're right, this could be dangerous. We should send a SWAT team. No time, I said. By the time you organize that, they could be gone. Then what do you suggest? I looked at her. I suggest I go get them myself. Griffin, Torres, and 2 armed officers drove with me to Mount Hood. It took 90 minutes, through Portland suburbs, past small towns, up winding mountain roads. The cabin was exactly where I remembered it, a small A-frame structure surrounded by pine trees. Marcus's truck was parked outside. They're here, I said. Torres radioed for backup. ETA 30 minutes. We don't have 30 minutes, I said. If they see us, they'll run. Mr. Chen, you're not going in there. Yes, I am. I got out of the car before anyone could stop me. I walked up to the cabin door. My heart was pounding. My hands were shaking. But I wasn't scared anymore. I was angry. Furiously, completely, righteously angry. I knocked. Silence. Then footsteps. The door opened. Marcus stood there. He had a backpack. Keys in his hand. He was leaving. When he saw me, his face went white. David, where is she? I don't know what you're talking about. Where is she? Sarah appeared behind him. She had a suitcase. We stared at each other. You came, she said, almost impressed. Did you really think I'd just let you disappear? I thought you'd be smarter than this. Walking into a remote cabin. Alone. I'm not alone. She looked past me. Saw Griffin, saw Torres, saw the officers. Her expression hardened. You brought the police. How dramatic. You tried to kill me, Sarah. Allegedly, she said with a smile. I have video of you putting poison in my coffee. The smile faded. That's not possible. Hidden camera. In the kitchen. Behind the spice rack. I installed it 2 years ago. I watched the realization hit her. You bastard, she whispered. No, I said. That would be Emma, your daughter. With my brother. Want to tell her the truth, or should I? Marcus stepped forward. David, please, we can work this out. Work what out? You tried to murder me. You stole my life. You destroyed my family. We can give the money back. I don't want the money. I want justice. Torres and the officers moved in. Sarah Chen, Marcus Chen, you're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and forgery. They read them their rights. Sarah didn't resist. She just stared at me with pure hatred. You ruined everything, she said. No, I replied. You did that yourself. As they led her to the patrol car, she called back to me. Emma will never forgive you for this. She'll hate you. Maybe, I said, but at least I'll be alive to deal with it. Marcus was next. As the officers cuffed him, he looked at me. I'm sorry, bro. I really am. Don't call me bro, I said. You're not my brother. Not anymore. We shared a childhood. We shared nothing. You took everything from me and called it love. Tears ran down his face. I never meant for it to go this far. But it did, and now you pay the price. They put him in a separate car. I stood in that clearing, watching them drive away. Griffin came over. You okay? No, I said honestly, but I will be. This is going to be a long legal battle. I know. And Emma, I know. The hardest part was still ahead, telling my daughter the truth, all of it. We drove back to Portland in silence. My phone, my real phone, started ringing. Emma. I stared at it. Let it ring. Then I answered. Emma. Dad. Oh my God. Dad. Mom was just arrested. Uncle Marcus, too. What's happening? They're saying attempted murder. That can't be right. Tell me that's not right. I closed my eyes. Emma, I need you to sit down. I am sitting down. Dad, what's going on? Your mother and Marcus were trying to kill me. They've been poisoning me for 3 months. They forged documents. They planned my murder. And baby, my voice cracked. There's something else you need to know. What? Marcus is your biological father. Silence. A long, horrible silence. Then, what? Your mother and Marcus have been together since before she and I got married. You're his daughter, not mine, biologically. That's not possible. I have DNA tests. I have evidence. I'm so sorry, baby. But it's true. You're lying. You're lying. I wish I was. I hate you, she screamed. I hate you. The line went dead. I sat there, phone in my hand, and felt the last piece of my heart break. My wife had betrayed me. My brother had betrayed me. And now, my daughter hated me. Give her time, Griffin said softly. What if time doesn't fix this? Then you deal with it. But at least you're alive to try. He was right. I was alive, broken, destroyed, but alive. And Sarah and Marcus, they were finally going to face justice. But the trial was still months away. And in those months, I would discover things about their plan that were even worse than I imagined. Things about the life insurance policy. Things about my business. Things about the house. Things that would make me realize just how long they'd been planning this. And how close I'd come to being another unsolved death. Another tragic heart attack. Another natural causes obituary. But I didn't die. I survived. And now, it was time to make sure they never hurt anyone again. The days after the arrest were a blur. Police interviews, lawyer meetings, forensic accountants going through every financial record I'd kept for 20 years. I moved into a different hotel, upscale this time, with actual security. Griffin's recommendation. Until the trial is over, you're still a target, he said. They're in jail. They have friends, resources, money we haven't found yet. He was right to be paranoid. 3 days after the arrest, someone tried to break into my hotel room. The security cameras caught him. A man in his 30s, leather jacket, tried to pick the lock at 2 a.m. Hotel security stopped him. Portland PD arrested him. His name was Derek Vance, a private contractor, the kind you hire when you need things done quietly. When they searched his car, they found a syringe, potassium chloride, enough to cause instant cardiac arrest. "Who hired you?" Detective Torres asked him. Derek lawyered up immediately, said nothing, but his bank records told the story. $10,000, deposited 2 days before the arrest, from an offshore account traced back to Sarah. She'd hired a hitman from jail. Torres came to see me the next day. "We're adding solicitation of murder to the charges. Sarah made calls from jail to a burner phone. We're still tracing the connections, but we know she arranged the hit." I sat there, numb. She's not going to stop. We've put her in isolation. No phone privileges. No contact with anyone except her lawyer. And Marcus. He's talking, trying to make a deal. What kind of deal? Reduced sentence in exchange for testimony against Sarah. He's claiming she was the mastermind, that he was coerced. I laughed bitterly. Of course he is. Do you want to hear what he's saying? Does it matter? It might. He's given us information about their finances, offshore accounts, properties we didn't know about. It's bigger than we thought, David. Much bigger. Over the next week, the full picture emerged. Sarah and Marcus hadn't just been planning to kill me. They'd been systematically stealing from me for years. My business, Chen Architectural Design, had been bleeding money, small amounts, 5,000 here, 10,000 there, always under the threshold that would trigger an audit. Marcus had been the one doing it. He had access to the company accounts because I'd made him a signatory 5 years ago when he got his life together. Total amount stolen, $847,000, almost $1 million. Gone. Where did the money go? I asked Torres. She showed me a spreadsheet. Offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, properties in Costa Rica, a condo in Vancouver, stock portfolios under shell companies. They were building an exit strategy, Torres explained. When you died, they'd inherit everything legally, but they also had this hidden wealth that you never knew about. They could disappear if they needed to. They were planning to leave the country. After your death, yes. Sarah would collect the insurance money, Marcus would liquidate your business assets, and they'd vanish. New identities, new life. What about Emma? Torres hesitated. According to Marcus, they were planning to take her with them. My blood ran cold. They were going to make her an accessory, or they were going to tell her you committed suicide, that you'd been mentally ill, that they needed to start over somewhere new to heal. I thought of Emma, 19 years old, believing her father had killed himself, following her mother and uncle, her biological father, to a new country, never knowing the truth. "We need to tell her," I said. "That's your decision." "No, it's the right thing to do. She deserves to know everything." I called Emma that night. She didn't answer. I called again. Voicemail. I texted, "Emma, I know you're angry. I know you don't believe me, but I need you to come to Portland. There's evidence you need to see. Please. For me." 3 hours later, she responded, "Emma, I'm not coming." Me. "Emma, please, I'm your father." "Emma, are you? Because Mom says you're not. She says there's no DNA test, that you made it all up." Of course, Sarah would say that. Me. "There is a test. I have it. I'll show you." "Emma, why should I believe you over her?" Me. "Because I've never lied to you. Not once in 19 years. Can she say the same? No response. Then 5 minutes later, "Emma, fine, I'll come, but if you're lying to me, I'm never speaking to you again." Me. "Fair enough." Emma arrived 2 days later. I met her at a coffee shop downtown, neutral ground. Griffin insisted on coming with me, just in case. She looked terrible, dark circles under her eyes, hair unwashed, wearing sweatpants and a hoodie. My daughter, Marcus's daughter. She looked so much like him now that I saw it. "Hi, baby," I said. "Don't call me that." She sat down, arms crossed. "Show me the proof." I slid a folder across the table. DNA results, bank records, the video footage from the hidden camera, police reports, medical records showing digitalis in my system. She read through it all, watched the videos on my laptop. I watched her face, watched the exact moment she realized it was true. her mother making coffee, adding crushed pills, serving it with a smile. "Oh my God," she whispered. "I'm sorry you had to see that. She really tried to kill you." "Yes." Emma looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. "And Marcus is your biological father?" "Yes." "Did you know when I was born?" "No. I found out 2 weeks ago." "Does that mean—" Her voice broke. "Does that mean you're not my dad?" I reached across the table, took her hand. "Emma, listen to me. I am your father. I changed your diapers. I taught you to ride a bike. I scared away the monsters under your bed. I helped you with your homework. I walked you to school every day until you were 12. I am your father in every way that matters. But biologically doesn't matter. You're my daughter. You've always been my daughter, and I love you. That will never change." She started sobbing. I came around the table and held her. She clung to me like she was 5 years old again. "I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I should have believed you." "Shh, it's okay." I told her you were crazy. I told her you needed help, and all along she was— "It's not your fault. She's my mom. How could she do this?" "I don't know, baby. I don't know." We sat in that coffee shop for 3 hours. I told her everything. The affair that lasted 20 years, the stolen money, the forged documents, the escape plan. "They were going to take you to Costa Rica," I said, "after I died. Tell you I'd committed suicide. Start a new life." "That's insane. Your mother is many things. Insane isn't one of them. She's calculating, smart, ruthless. I can't believe I lived with her for 19 years and never saw it." "Neither did I." Emma wiped her eyes. "What happens now?" "There's going to be a trial. They'll both face charges. It could take months. Will they go to prison? If there's any justice in the world, yes." "Good." Her voice was hard. "I hope they rot." I'd never heard her sound like that before. My sweet daughter, 20 years of lies had turned her into something else. Someone harder, colder, someone who understood betrayal. The weeks that followed were a nightmare of legal proceedings. Sarah pleaded not guilty, hired an expensive defense team. They argued that she was a victim of circumstance, that I was mentally unstable, that the hidden camera footage was fabricated. Marcus, meanwhile, took the deal. He agreed to testify against Sarah in exchange for a reduced sentence, 15 years instead of life. His lawyer arranged a meeting. He wanted to see me before the trial. "You don't have to do this," Torres said. "I want to," I replied. "I want to hear what he has to say." They brought Marcus into a small interview room at the county jail. He was wearing orange, handcuffs. He'd lost weight, looked older. "Bro," he said when he saw me. "Don't." "Right. Sorry." He sat down. "Thanks for coming." "I didn't come for you. I came because my lawyer suggested I hear your statement before you testify." "Fair enough." Marcus took a breath. "I want you to know I'm sorry." "I don't care." "I know you don't. But I need to say it anyway. What I did, it was unforgivable." "You're right, it was. I loved her, David. I've loved her since we were in college, since before you even met her. That doesn't excuse anything. I know, I'm trying to explain. There's nothing to explain. You fell in love with your brother's girlfriend, then his wife. You had a child with her. You stole from me. You poisoned me. You tried to murder me. What's left to explain?" Marcus looked down at his cuffed hands. "It wasn't supposed to go this far. Then when was it supposed to stop?" "I don't know. After Emma was born, I wanted to tell you. I wanted to do the right thing. But Sarah said—" "Sarah said what?" "She said you'd take Emma away, that you'd fight for custody, that we'd lose everything. So you decided to kill me instead. That was her idea, not mine. You went along with it." "I did." "I know." He looked up at me, tears in his eyes. "I'm weak, David. I've always been weak. You were always the strong one, the successful one. I was just the screw-up little brother who couldn't get his life together. So you took mine." "Yeah, I guess I did." We sat in silence. Then Marcus said, "Emma, how is she?" "Don't ask about Emma." You don't get to ask about her. She's my daughter. No, she's my daughter. You're just the sperm donor. Marcus flinched. That's fair. Did you ever love me? I asked suddenly. As a brother, did you ever actually love me? He thought about it. Really thought about it. I did, he said finally. When we were kids, before Sarah, before everything got complicated. I loved you, David. You were my hero. What happened? I got jealous. You had everything I wanted. The career, the money, the beautiful wife. And then I found out that beautiful wife was the girl I'd loved in college. The one who chose you over me. She didn't choose me, I said quietly. She chose security, stability, a meal ticket. I know that now. Good. Then you know she never loved either of us. Marcus's face crumbled. She told me. She loved me. She told me the same thing. For 20 years. Every single day. She's a liar, Marcus. She used both of us. The lawyer says she's going to testify that I forced her, that I threatened her, that she was afraid of me. Will they believe that? Probably. I'm the man. I have a criminal record. You have a criminal record? DUI. From 10 years ago. You never knew because Sarah convinced me not to tell you. Of course she did. She's going to paint you as the villain, I said, and herself as the victim. I know. And you're going to let her. What choice do I have? I took the deal. I testify against her. I get 15 years. If I don't, I get life. You could tell the truth. The truth is that we're both guilty. Yes, but she's more guilty. Marcus looked at me with something like hope. Will you testify? Against both of us. I'll testify to the truth, whatever that is. I left that jail feeling emptier than when I arrived. Marcus was weak, always had been. Sarah had used that weakness to manipulate him, but that didn't excuse what he'd done. He'd made his choices. Now he had to live with them. Griffin was waiting for me outside. How'd it go? He's pathetic. Most criminals are. He's trying to pin it all on Sarah. Of course he is. Self-preservation. We got in his car. Griffin, can I ask you something? Sure. In your experience, do people like Sarah and Marcus ever feel real remorse? He thought about it. Some do. Most don't. The ones who do usually turn themselves in long before it gets this far. So, they're both just, what? Sociopaths. I wouldn't diagnose them, but I'd say they're both capable of extreme compartmentalization. They could poison you in the morning and tell themselves it was justified by evening. How do people become like that? I don't know. I've been doing this for 20 years and I still don't understand it. We drove in silence for a while. Then Griffin said, You know what surprises me? What? How well you're handling this. Most people would have completely fallen apart. Who says I haven't? You're still standing, still fighting. A lot of people wouldn't be. I don't feel strong. Strength isn't about feeling strong. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you feel weak. That night, I had dinner with Emma. Real dinner, at a nice restaurant. Just the two of us. We talked about school, about her friends, about normal things. It felt good, almost normal. Dad, she said over dessert, I've been thinking. About what? About changing my last name. I looked at her. To what? I want to keep Chen, if that's okay with you. My throat tightened. Emma, you don't have to. I know I don't have to. I want to. Marcus may be my biological father, but you're my dad. And I don't want to share a name with him. What about Sarah? I'm dropping her name too. Just Chen. Emma Chen, is that okay? I reached across the table, took her hand. It's more than okay, baby. She smiled. The first real smile I'd seen from her in weeks. There's something else, she said. What? I'm transferring schools, coming back to Portland. I want to be here for the trial, to support you. Emma, you don't have to do that. Seattle is good for you. Dad, my mother tried to kill you. My biological father helped her. I'm not going to pretend everything is fine and stay in Seattle. I'm coming home. Home. Okay, I said. Okay. We'll find you an apartment. I want to live with you. I'm in a hotel. Then we'll get a place together. A new place. New memories. I looked at my daughter. My daughter. Biology be damned. and felt something shift inside me. Maybe I hadn't lost everything. Maybe I'd lost a wife who never loved me and a brother who betrayed. And we'll get a place together. A new place. New memories. I looked at my daughter, biology be damned, and felt something shift inside me. Maybe I hadn't lost everything. Maybe I'd lost a wife who never loved me and a brother who betrayed me. But I still had Emma, and maybe that was enough. The trial was set for 3 months later. In that time, Griffin's team uncovered more evidence. Sarah had taken out additional insurance policies, not just on me, on Marcus too. $2 million on Marcus. Beneficiary, Sarah. She was planning to kill him too, Torres said, after you were gone, after she got your money and his testimony wasn't needed anymore. Did Marcus know? Not according to his lawyer. When we told him he didn't take it well. Good. Let him feel what betrayal feels like. They also found something else. A storage unit. Rented under a fake name. Paid for with cash. Inside, documents, passports, fake IDs for Sarah and Emma, but not for Marcus. She was planning to leave him behind, Griffin said. Take Emma. Disappear. Marcus was collateral damage. What about Emma's passport? Sarah got her one 2 years ago. Told her it was for a surprise trip to Europe. Emma never questioned it. I thought about that. Sarah preparing to take Emma away. To vanish with my daughter. To another country. Another life. Without me. Without Marcus. Just her and the daughter she'd had with the wrong brother. 1 month before the trial, Sarah's lawyers tried to make a deal. Second-degree murder attempt. 20 years. Eligible for parole in 12. The prosecutor came to me. It's your call, Mr. Chen. We can take this to trial and risk a hung jury, or we can accept the deal and guarantee she goes to prison. What do you recommend? Honestly, the evidence is strong, but juries are unpredictable. She's a sympathetic defendant, middle-aged woman, no prior record, good actress. Her lawyers are going to paint her as a battered wife who snapped. I never hit her, never even raised my voice to her. I know, but they'll claim emotional abuse, financial control. They'll make you the villain. What about the videos? They'll argue you drove her to it, that she was desperate. I laughed bitterly. So she poisons me for 3 months, steals $1 million, and I'm the bad guy. Welcome to the justice system. I thought about it. 20 years. Out in 12. Sarah would be 68 when she got out. Still time to have a life. No deal, I said. You're sure? I'm sure. I want her to face a jury. I want 12 people to hear what she did. I want the world to know. Okay. Then we go to trial. Marcus's lawyer tried to get him a better deal, too. 10 years instead of 15. I was asked if I'd support it. No, I said. He gets what he agreed to. 15 years. Mr. Chen, he's cooperating. He tried to murder me. He slept with my wife. He stole my money. He gets 15 years or I'll push for life. The prosecutor nodded. Fair enough. 2 weeks before trial, I got a letter. From Sarah. Mailed from the jail. I almost threw it away without reading it. But curiosity got the better of me. Dear David, I know you hate me. I understand why. But I need you to understand something. I never meant to hurt you. Not really. You were good to me. Kind. Generous. Everything a husband should be. But I didn't love you. I never loved you. And living a lie for 20 years. It breaks something inside you. I loved Marcus. I still love him. Even knowing what I know now about his weakness, about his betrayal. I love him. You were the safe choice. The smart choice. But not the right choice. I should have been braver. I should have told you the truth. I should have left you properly. But I was scared. Scared of being poor. Scared of being alone. Scared of losing Emma. So I made bad decisions. Terrible decisions. And now we're all paying the price. I'm writing to ask you for mercy. Not for me. I don't deserve mercy. But for Emma. She's going to grow up, knowing her mother is a murderer. That's a weight she shouldn't have to carry. If you testify against me, if you push for the maximum sentence, that weight gets heavier. I'm asking you to show compassion, to accept a plea deal, to let this be over. For Emma's sake. Sarah. I read the letter 3 times. Then I called Emma. Hey, baby, can you come over? Sure, what's up? I got a letter from your mother. Silence. What does it say? She's asking me to show mercy. For your sake. What did you tell her? I haven't responded. I wanted to talk to you first. Emma was quiet for a long moment. Dad, do what you think is right. Don't worry about me. You're my daughter. I'll always worry about you. I know, but this isn't about me. This is about justice. About holding her accountable. Even if it means she goes to prison for life. Especially if it means that. She tried to kill you, Dad. She doesn't get to use me as a bargaining chip. My daughter, 19 years old, and already wiser than I'd ever be. Okay, I said. Then we go to trial. Good. The trial was 3 weeks away. Sarah's defense team was preparing their strategy. Marcus was preparing to testify. The prosecutor was preparing evidence. And I was preparing to face the woman I'd loved for 20 years and watch her try to convince a jury that I deserved to die. But before the trial could begin, something happened that changed everything. Something that made me realize Sarah and Marcus weren't the only ones involved in this conspiracy. There was someone else, someone I'd trusted completely, someone who'd been helping them from the beginning. And when I found out who it was, everything I thought I knew about my life came crashing down one more time. 2 weeks before the trial, I received a call from the prosecutor's office. Mr. Chen, we need you to come in. There's been a development. What kind of development? Just come in, please. The tone of her voice made my stomach drop. Torres was waiting for me. So was Griffin, and a man I didn't recognize. 50s, gray suit, FBI badge on his belt. Mr. Chen, this is Special Agent Raymond Cole, Torres said. He's with the FBI's white-collar crime division. FBI. I thought this was a local case. It was, Agent Cole said, until we discovered the scope of the fraud. Mr. Chen, you need to sit down. I sat. We've been going through Sarah and Marcus's financial records, Cole continued, following the money trail, the offshore accounts, the shell companies, and we found something unexpected. What? He slid a document across the table. It was a bank transfer from one of Marcus's shell companies to an account I didn't recognize. $250,000. Who's the recipient? I asked. Torres answered. Dr. Richard Patel. Your physician. The room tilted. No, I said. No, that's not possible. I'm afraid it is, Cole said. Dr. Patel has been receiving payments from Marcus for the past 3 years, totaling $680,000. For what? For falsifying your medical records, for providing false testimony about your mental state, for prescribing medications that would make your symptoms worse. I couldn't breathe. Dr. Patel has been my doctor for 15 years, which is why he was the perfect co-conspirator, Torres said quietly. You trusted him completely, never questioned his diagnoses, never sought a second opinion. The heart medication, I said, realization dawning. The pills he prescribed 6 months ago for the arrhythmia. Cole nodded. We had them analyzed. They weren't heart medication. They were low-dose digitalis. He was poisoning you too. Oh my God. Sarah was putting digitalis in your coffee. Dr. Patel was prescribing it as medication. You were getting a double dose. That's why your symptoms got so bad so fast. Griffin put a hand on my shoulder. David, this is actually good news. How is this good news? Because it proves premeditation. It proves conspiracy. It takes Sarah's defense apart. She can't claim she was desperate or abused or scared. This was organized, professional, criminal. How did you find this? I asked Cole. Marcus gave him up. Once he found out about the insurance policy Sarah had on him, he started talking, really talking. Gave us names, account numbers, everything. Does Dr. Patel know you're onto him? Not yet. We were waiting to see if you'd be willing to help us. Help you how? Wear a wire. Go see him. Get him to talk. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. Yes, I said. When? Tomorrow. We'll set up a routine appointment. You'll go in complaining about symptoms. See what he says. See if he incriminates himself. What if he doesn't? Then we arrest him anyway. but a confession would make the case airtight. Do it, I said. Set it up. That night I couldn't sleep. Dr. Patel, the man who'd treated my daughter when she had chickenpox, who'd diagnosed my shoulder injury after a skiing accident, who'd sat with me after my father died and told me it was okay to grieve. That man had been poisoning me. For money. $680,000. I thought about every appointment, every prescription, every reassurance. Your heart looks good, David. Nothing to worry about. While he was slowly killing me, the next morning, they fitted me with a wire, a tiny microphone hidden in my shirt button, a recording device in my pocket. Just act natural, Agent Cole said. Go in, complain about symptoms, see what he prescribes. What if he realizes something's wrong? He won't. He thinks he's untouchable. People like him always do. Torres added, we'll be right outside. If anything feels wrong, if you feel threatened, just say the word emergency, and we'll come in. Okay. Griffin looked at me. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. Dr. Patel's office looked exactly the same. Same waiting room, same magazines, same receptionist, Janet, who'd worked there for 10 years. David, so good to see you, she said. Dr. Patel will be right with you. I sat down. My heart was pounding so hard I was sure the wire would pick it up. 15 minutes later, Janet called my name. I walked down the familiar hallway to the familiar exam room. Dr. Patel came in 5 minutes later. David, he said warmly, how are you feeling? I looked at him. Really looked at him. Same kind eyes. Same professional demeanor, same concerned expression, and all I could think was, you tried to kill me. Not great, actually, I said. I've been having heart palpitations again, and dizziness. He frowned. When did this start? A few weeks ago. Are you still taking the medication I prescribed? No, I stopped taking it. His expression changed, just slightly, a flash of something, concern or calculation. David, you shouldn't stop medication without consulting me first. Your heart condition. What heart condition? He blinked. The arrhythmia, the one we've been treating. You never found anything wrong with my heart. You said so yourself. I said it wasn't serious, but it still needed to be managed. With digitalis. Silence. He stared at me. How do you know it was digitalis? He asked carefully. Because I had my blood tested by another doctor who found toxic levels in my system. Dr. Patel's face went pale. David, I can explain. Can you explain why you've been poisoning me for 6 months? I wasn't. Can you explain the $680,000 you received from my brother? He stood up. I think this appointment is over. Sit down, Dr. Patel. I don't have to listen to this. You're clearly having some kind of paranoid episode. Sit down. He sat. I leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me the truth. All of it. When you started working with Sarah and Marcus. What they asked you to do. Everything. I want a lawyer. Too late for that. The FBI is outside. They have warrants. They have bank records. They have everything. Your only chance is to cooperate. Dr. Patel put his face in his hands. She said you were going to die anyway, he said quietly. What? Sarah. She said you had a genetic heart condition, that you'd be dead in 5 years regardless, that we were just speeding up the inevitable. And you believed her? She was convincing. And the money. I have gambling debts. Serious debts. People were threatening my family. So you decided to murder your patient. I didn't think of it as murder. I thought of it as euthanasia. I wanted to hit him. Actually hit him. Instead, I said, how long have you been working with them? 3 years. Sarah approached me, said she needed help with a sensitive medical matter. She was charming, persuasive, and when she mentioned the money, you sold your soul. I sold my ethics, he corrected. My soul was already gone. What did they ask you to do? Falsify records. Make it look like you had cognitive decline, heart problems. Prescribe medications that would make your symptoms worse. Testify, if needed, that you were mentally incompetent.
and the digitalis. That was Sarah's idea. She was already putting it in your coffee. She wanted me to prescribe it too. To make sure it worked. To make sure I died. He nodded. I'm sorry, David. I truly am. No, you're not. You're sorry you got caught. The door opened. Agent Colin Torres walked in. Doctor, Richard Patel, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and practicing medicine with intent to harm. They cuffed him. As they let him out, he looked back at me. For what it's worth, he said. I'm glad you survived. Go to hell, I replied. We stood outside the medical building. You did good in there, Torres said. I wanted to kill him, but you didn't. You got the confession. That's what matters. How many others? I asked. How many other people were involved? We're still investigating, Cole said. But so far just Sarah, Marcus, and Dr. Patel. That we know of, he agreed. Griffin lit a cigarette. This changes everything for the trial. Sarah can't claim she was acting alone or under duress. This was an organized conspiracy. What does this mean for her sentence? Life, Torres said simply. No possibility of parole. She's done. That night, the news broke. Local doctor arrested in murder-for-hire plot. My phone exploded. Texts, calls, emails. Everyone I knew, everyone I'd ever worked with, reaching out. Some offering support. Some asking for details. Some just wanting to be part of the drama. I ignored them all. Except one. Emma. Dad, I saw the news. Are you okay? Me. I'm fine, baby. Emma. Dr. Patel. Really? Me. Really? Emma. I can't believe it. He was always so nice to me. Me. That's what made him dangerous. Emma. I'm coming over. Me. You don't have to. Emma. I'm coming over. She arrived an hour later. We sat in my hotel room, eating takeout Chinese food, and she said, Dad, can I ask you something? Anything. How do you trust anyone again? After this, I thought about it. I don't know yet, I said honestly. I'm still figuring that out. Aren't you angry? Every second of every day. How do you deal with it? I focus on what I can control. The trial. Building a new life. You. She smiled sadly. That's not much. It's enough. We ate in silence for a while. Then Emma said, I talked to a therapist about everything. That's good. She said I might have PTSD from the trauma of finding out about Mom and Marcus and everything. That makes sense. Do you have PTSD? Probably. I haven't really thought about it. Maybe you should. Talk to someone, I mean. Maybe. But I knew I wouldn't. Not yet. First, I had to get through the trial. With Dr. Patel's arrest, Sarah's lawyers scrambled. They tried to delay the trial, claimed they needed more time to prepare. The judge denied the motion. Your client has had months to prepare. The trial proceeds as scheduled, 1 week away. Marcus's lawyer contacted me. He wanted to meet one more time. Why? I asked Torres. He says he has information about Sarah, things he didn't tell us before. What kind of things? He wouldn't say over the phone, but he's willing to testify to them. Is this a trick? Possibly, or he's genuinely trying to help. Either way, it might be worth hearing. They brought Marcus to a conference room at the courthouse. He looked worse than last time. Thinner, gray, defeated. Thanks for coming, he said. I said nothing. There's something you need to know, Marcus continued. About Sarah, about her past. What about it? She wasn't who she said she was. I figured that out. No, I mean before you met her. Before college, her whole history. It's fake. I leaned forward. What are you talking about? Her name isn't really Sarah Brennan. It's Sarah Kowalski. She's from Milwaukee, not Denver. She changed her name when she was 21. Why? Because she was running from something. Someone. Who? Marcus pulled out a folder. I found this 2 months ago, hidden in her safe deposit box. I was looking for the offshore account numbers and I found this instead. He slid it across the table. Inside were documents, court records, police reports from 1995. Sarah Kowalski,
arrested for attempted fraud, posing as a financial advisor, stealing from elderly clients. She'd done this before. She never went to trial, Marcus said. The victims were too embarrassed to testify. But she was blacklisted in Milwaukee, so she changed her name, moved to Portland, started over, and met you, and met both of us. You were the mark, David. From the beginning, she researched you, found out you were successful, single, trusting, perfect target. And you? I was the accomplice, the inside man, though I didn't realize it at first. I thought she actually loved me. Did she? Marcus laughed bitterly. No, she was using me too. The insurance policy proves that. Once you were dead, I'd be next. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know the truth, and because— He hesitated. Because I want you to understand that Sarah is a predator, a professional. What happened to you, to us? It's happened before. And if we don't stop her, it'll happen again. She's going to prison for life. Is she? With a good defense attorney? With her acting skills? With a sympathetic jury? Are you sure? I wasn't sure. Nothing was certain. There's more, Marcus said. More. The safe deposit box. There were other documents. Identities she'd created. Passports, birth certificates, bank accounts. All under different names. She's been planning an escape for years. Long before she met you. Where are these documents now? The FBI has them. But I wanted you to know. Sarah is a con artist, a career criminal. Everything about her is a lie. I sat back. 20 years of my life, built on lies. Every smile, every kiss, every "I love you." All of it. Fake. Thank you, I said quietly, for telling me. It doesn't make up for what I did. No, it doesn't. I know. We sat in silence. Then Marcus said, David, can I ask you something? What? Do you think Emma will ever forgive me? Not as a father. I know I lost that. But as a person, I thought about it. I don't know, I said honestly. That's up to her. Not me. Fair enough. I left that meeting with a clear picture. Sarah wasn't just my wife who'd betrayed me. She was a professional criminal who'd been running cons for decades. I was just her longest, most profitable job. 3 days before the trial, Sarah's lawyers made one final attempt. They offered a deal. Guilty plea. 30 years. Eligible for parole in 20. The prosecutor called me. What do you think? What are the chances we lose at trial? I asked. Honestly, with Dr. Patel's confession and Marcus's testimony and the videos, maybe 10%, but juries are unpredictable. What's your recommendation? Take the deal. 30 years is significant. She'd be 77 when she gets out. And we avoid the risk of a not guilty verdict. I thought about it. 30 years. Sarah would lose everything. Her freedom, her reputation, her daughter. But she'd live. She'd eventually get out. She'd have a chance at a life. Did she deserve that? I called Emma. What do you think? I asked. I think. She paused. I think you fought long enough, Dad. Take the deal. Let it be over. You're sure? I'm sure. I want my life back. I want to stop thinking about her every day. I want to move forward. Okay, I said. Okay. I called the prosecutor back. We'll take the deal. You're sure? I'm sure. All right. I'll contact her attorneys. Wait, I said. One condition. What? She has to allocate. In court. In front of everyone. She has to admit what she did. Every detail. I want it on the record. I'll make sure that's part of the agreement. 2 days later, we all gathered in court. Sarah in her orange jumpsuit, handcuffed. Marcus sitting in the gallery, already sentenced to his 15 years. Dr. Patel in his own orange jumpsuit, awaiting his trial. Emma next to me, holding my hand. The judge read the charges. Sarah Kowalski-Chen, you are charged with attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, theft, and criminal impersonation. How do you plead? Sarah's lawyer stood. My client wishes to change her plea to guilty, Your Honor. Is this true, Ms. Chen? Sarah stood. Yes, Your Honor. Do you understand what you're pleading guilty to? Yes. Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're waiving your right to a trial? Yes. Very well. The court will hear your allocution. Please tell us, in your own words, what you did. Sarah took a breath, and then she spoke. For the next 20 minutes, Sarah confessed. To the affair that lasted 20 years. To the systematic theft of nearly $1 million. To the poisoning. To the forged documents. To the escape plan. To everything. And I sat there, watching the woman I'd loved for 2 decades, and felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no hatred, just emptiness. Because the Sarah I'd loved never existed. She was a character, a role, a con, and I'd been the mark all along. Sarah stood before the judge. Her hair was pulled back. No makeup. Orange jumpsuit hanging loose on her frame. She'd lost weight in jail. She looked small, vulnerable. But I knew better now. Ms. Chen, the judge said, the court will hear your allocution. Please describe your crimes in detail. Sarah's lawyer nodded to her. She cleared her throat. My name is Sarah Kowalski Chen, she began, though for the past 25 years I've gone by Sarah Brennan Chen. Her voice was steady, practiced. I met David Chen in September 2003, at a bar in downtown Portland. I was 27, he was 30. She glanced at me. I kept my face blank. I had researched him prior to our meeting. I knew he owned a successful architecture firm. I knew he was single. I knew he came from money. I knew he was looking for a serious relationship. Murmurs in the courtroom. The judge banged his gavel. I also knew his younger brother, Marcus Chen, from college. Marcus and I had been involved, briefly. He was in love with me. I used that. Marcus, sitting in the gallery, looked down. My plan was simple. Date David. Marry David. Have access to his money. And maintain my relationship with Marcus on the side. When did the relationship with Marcus resume? The judge asked. It never stopped. We were together the entire time I was dating David. And the entire time I was married to him. I felt Emma's hand tighten on mine. In August 2005, I discovered I was pregnant. The child was Marcus's, not David's, but I told David the child was his. We got married in October 2005. Did Mr. Marcus Chen know the child was his? Yes, but we agreed to keep it secret. David was financially stable. Marcus was not. It made sense for David to believe he was the father. Made sense. She said it like it was a business decision. For the next 19 years, I lived a double life. Wife to David, lover to Marcus, mother to Emma. The judge leaned forward. When did you begin stealing from Mr. Chen? Almost immediately. Small amounts at first. Using his credit cards for personal expenses and claiming they were household costs. As his business grew and Marcus became more involved in the finances, we increased the amounts. Total amount stolen. Approximately $847,000 over 15 years. Someone in the gallery gasped. We opened offshore accounts. Bought properties under shell companies. We were building a nest egg for when we could finally be together. What changed? The judge asked. Why move from theft to murder? Sarah paused. This was the important part. 2 years ago, David began talking about retirement. He wanted to sell the business, downsize, travel. He was talking about transferring assets to Emma, setting up trusts. His lawyer was getting involved. You were losing access to the money. Yes. And Marcus was getting impatient. We'd been waiting for 20 years. He wanted us to be together, openly. But if David retired, if he liquidated the business, if he set up trusts, we'd lose everything. So, you decided to kill him. Yes. The word hung in the air. How did you plan to do it? Sarah took a breath. We needed it to look natural. A heart attack or stroke. Something believable for a man in his 50s under stress. Enter Dr. Richard Patel. Yes, Dr. Patel had been David's physician for years. David trusted him completely. Marcus approached him first, offered him money. Dr. Patel had gambling debts. He was desperate. What did you ask Dr. Patel to do? Falsify medical records, make it appear David had heart problems, early dementia. We needed a paper trail, showing declining health and mental competence. Why? 2 reasons. First, if David died suddenly, we wanted doctors to believe he had pre-existing conditions. Second, if anyone questioned his death, we could claim he'd been mentally unstable. Suicidal, even. The coldness in her voice was chilling. When did you begin poisoning him? 6 months ago. January 2025. We chose digitalis because it mimics heart disease. In small doses, it causes arrhythmia, weakness, confusion. In larger doses, cardiac arrest. Where did you obtain the digitalis? Marcus bought it from a compounding pharmacy in Beaverton. We paid cash. The pharmacy owner was cooperative, another name for the FBI to investigate. How did you administer it? In his morning coffee. Every day, 2 crushed pills stirred into his cup. David never noticed. He trusted me. She said it without emotion, like she was reading a recipe. Dr. Patel also prescribed digitalis disguised as heart medication. Between my doses and the prescription, David was getting approximately 0.5 milligrams daily. That's a lethal dose, the judge said. Over time, yes, we wanted it to be gradual, to look like natural decline. What was your timeline? 3 months. By April, we planned to increase the dose significantly. David would have a massive heart attack, die at home. I'd call 911. Dr. Patel would sign the death certificate. Heart failure due to pre-existing conditions. And then I'd collect the $5 million life insurance policy. Marcus would inherit David's business assets per the forged will. We'd wait 6 months for things to settle. Then Marcus and I would quietly leave the country. What about Emma? For the first time, Sarah's voice wavered. We were going to tell her David had been suicidal, mentally ill, that his death, while officially ruled a heart attack, was essentially suicide. We'd convince her to come with us, to start over somewhere new. Costa Rica, probably. I looked at Emma. Tears were streaming down her face. Did Emma know any of this? No, she knew nothing. She believed David was her biological father. She believed our marriage was real. She believed everything. When did your plan begin to unravel? September 15th. David ran into a notary at a golf course. The notary mentioned documents David had supposedly signed, documents transferring his assets to Marcus. But David had been in Vancouver that day. He realized the documents were forged. What did you do? I tried to convince him he was confused, having memory problems. But he didn't believe me. He found the digitalis pills I'd hidden in the coffee container. And then he ran, disappeared. I called Marcus immediately. We knew we were in trouble. Did you try to find him? Yes. We searched everywhere, called hospitals, called his clients, but he was gone. Did you attempt to harm him after he fled? Sarah looked down. Yes. Explain. I hired someone, Derek Vance, a private contractor. I gave him $10,000 to find David and eliminate him, make it look like suicide. You hired a hitman? Yes. From jail? Yes. I still had access to offshore accounts. I made calls from jail using another inmate's phone privileges. I was desperate. The hit was unsuccessful. Obviously. A few people in the courtroom laughed nervously. The judge glared them into silence. Ms. Chen, do you understand the severity of your crimes? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have anything to say to your victim? Sarah turned to look at me. Our eyes met. For a moment, I saw something in her face. Regret, remorse. Then it was gone. David, she said, I'm sorry. Not for loving Marcus, not for wanting a different life, but for hurting you the way I did. You didn't deserve that. You're right, I said. I didn't. The judge banged his gavel. Mr. Chen, please refrain from speaking. Sorry, Your Honor. Sarah turned back to the judge. I know I'm going to prison. I accept that. I just hope that Emma can forgive me someday. That's all I want. The judge reviewed the plea agreement.
Sarah Kowalski Chen, you have pleaded guilty to attempted murder in the first degree, conspiracy to commit murder, theft in the first degree, fraud, and criminal impersonation. Under the terms of your plea agreement, you are sentenced to 30 years in the Oregon State Penitentiary with eligibility for parole after 20 years. 30 years! Sarah showed no emotion. Do you understand this sentence? Yes, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned. The gavel came down. Guards led Sarah away. She didn't look back. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarmed. Mr. Chen, how do you feel about the sentence? Mr. Chen, do you think justice was served? Mr. Chen, what's next for you? Griffin and Torres flanked me, pushing through the crowd. Emma held my hand tight. We said nothing until we got to Griffin's car. It's over, Emma said once we were inside. It's finally over. Yeah, I said. It's over. But it didn't feel over. It felt like the beginning of something else. Something harder. We went to dinner, just Emma and me, at a quiet restaurant far from downtown. How are you doing? I asked. I don't know, she said honestly. I thought I'd feel relieved, but I just feel empty. That's normal, is it? I think so. We've been living in crisis mode for months. Now that the crisis is over, we don't know what to do with ourselves. She picked at her food. Dad, can I ask you something? Anything. Do you still love her? Even a little bit. I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know if I ever loved her, I said finally. I loved who I thought she was. But that person never existed. So it's like mourning someone who died, except they never lived in the first place. Exactly. We ate in silence. Then Emma said, I'm angry. That's okay. No, I mean I'm really angry. At her. At Marcus. At Dr. Patel. At everyone. That's okay too. I want to scream. I want to break things. I want to... Her voice broke. I want my old life back. I reached across the table, held her hand. I know, baby. Me too. But we can't have it back, can we? No, we can't. So what do? We build a new life, a better one, an honest one. How? I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out together. That night, alone in my hotel room, I finally let myself break down. I cried for the first time since this whole nightmare began. Cried for the 20 years I'd lost. Cried for the marriage that never existed. Cried for the brother I thought I had. Cried for Emma, who'd lost a mother and gained a criminal. Cried for myself, for the fool I'd been, for the man who'd trusted so completely and been betrayed so thoroughly. I cried until there were no tears left. And then I made a decision. The next morning I called my lawyer. I want to sell everything, I said. Everything. The house, the business, every asset I have. I want it liquidated. David, you don't have to make these decisions now. Yes, I do. I don't want anything that reminds me of her, of them. I want to start completely fresh. Okay, I'll start the paperwork. And I want to set up a trust for Emma. She gets everything when I die. That's already in your will. I want it ironclad. I want lawyers involved. I want it impossible for anyone to contest or steal from her. Can you do that? Absolutely. Good. Do it. I called Griffin next. I need a favor, I said. Name it. I want to know about Sarah's past, her real past. Before she was Sarah Brennan, I want to know who she really is. You sure? It might not be pleasant. I'm sure. All right. Give me a week. 1 week later, Griffin came to my hotel with a thick file. This is everything I could find on Sarah Kowalski, he said. Be warned, it's not pretty. I opened the file. Sarah Kowalski, born 1978 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Father, unknown. Mother, Patricia Kowalski, died 1995 of a drug overdose. Sarah grew up in foster care after her mother's death, bounced between 6 different homes between ages 12 and 18. Emancipated at 17, worked various jobs, waitress, retail, bank teller. First arrest at age 19, check fraud, charges dropped. Second arrest at age 21, posing as a financial advisor, stole $75,000 from elderly clients. Never went to trial, victims refused to testify. Changed her name to Sarah Brennan in 2000, moved to Portland, enrolled in community college. Worked as a receptionist at a law firm. That's where she learned about estate planning, wills, insurance policies. Met Marcus Chen in 2002 at Portland State University. They dated briefly. Met me in 2003. She targeted you, Griffin said. But this wasn't random. She'd been researching potential marks. You checked all her boxes. Successful, single, trusting, no family, except Marcus. And Marcus was already under her control. Exactly. She played you both. I kept reading. There were more details, more victims, more cons that never resulted in charges. Sarah was a professional, had been since she was a teenager. I was just her biggest score. There's something else, Griffin said. What? I found a storage unit. One we didn't know about. Rented under another fake name. What was in it? He handed me a photo. Inside the storage unit, suitcases, passports, cash, jewelry, and something else. A wedding dress, with tags still on it. What is this? I asked. According to the receipt, she bought it 6 months ago, from a bridal shop in Mexico City. Mexico City? She was planning a wedding, to Marcus. They were going to get married once you were dead and everything was settled. I stared at the photo. A white wedding dress, for a wedding that would never happen. She really thought she was going to get away with it, I said. They always do, Griffin replied. That night I burned everything. Every photo of Sarah, every memento, every reminder. I took them to a fire pit behind the hotel and watched them burn. 20 years of memories turning to ash. Emma came and stood beside me. Feel better? She asked. Not yet, but maybe someday. She threw in a photo of her own, her and Sarah at her high school graduation. We watched it curl and blacken. You know what the worst part is? Emma said. What? Part of me still loves her, even knowing what she did. Part of me still wants my mom back. That's normal, baby. Is it? Because it feels crazy. Love doesn't just disappear, even when it should. Do you still love her? I thought about it. I don't know. I love who I thought she was. But that person never existed, so maybe what I feel isn't love. Maybe it's just grief for something I never actually had. That's depressing. Yeah, it is. We stood there watching the fire. Dad. Yeah, promise me something. What? Promise me you'll try to be happy again, someday, even if it takes years. I promise, if you promise the same thing. Deal. We shook on it. The next day the house sold. A tech CEO from California. He loved the design, the river view, the craftsmanship. He had no idea what had happened there, what had been planned there. The poison, the lies, the betrayal. To him, it was just a beautiful house. I took the money, $2.3 million, and put it in a trust for Emma. Dad, that's too much, she said. It's not enough, not for what you've been through, but it's a start. What about you? I'll be fine. I have the business sale and my pension. I don't need much. Where will you go? I don't know yet. Somewhere new, somewhere with no memories. Can I come visit? Anytime you want. Marcus's sentencing was the following week. 15 years in Oregon State Penitentiary. He didn't allocate, just pleaded guilty and accepted the sentence. I didn't attend, neither did Emma. We'd said everything we needed to say. Dr. Patel's trial was set for 3 months later. The medical board had already revoked his license. His practice was shut down, his reputation destroyed. He'd spend the rest of his life in prison for betraying the Hippocratic Oath, for betraying his patients, for betraying me. 2 months after Sarah's sentencing, I got a letter from her, mailed from prison. I almost threw it away, but curiosity got the better of me. David, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I understand, but there are things I need to say. I've had a lot of time to think in here, about my life, my choices, what I did to you, and I realized something. I'm not sorry for loving Marcus. I'm not sorry for wanting a different life, but I am sorry for how I went about it. I should have left you, divorced you properly, been honest with Emma. Instead, I tried to destroy you, and in doing so, I destroyed myself. I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to, but I hope you can move on. Find happiness. Find someone who actually loves you the way you deserve. I hope Emma can forgive me someday. Even if you can't, that's all. Sarah. I read the letter 3 times, then I burned it. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. 3 months after the sentencing, I left Portland. Sold the business to a former associate. Packed everything I owned into a truck. Said goodbye to Emma. Temporarily, she was transferring to a school in Seattle to be closer, but not too close. And I drove. I didn't know where I was going, just away. Away from the house, the memories, the betrayal, away from everything that reminded me of the life I'd lost. But as I drove, I realized something. I hadn't lost my life. I'd escaped it. Escaped a marriage that was a lie, a brother who was an enemy, a doctor who was a killer. I'd survived. And survival, I was learning, was its own kind of victory. I ended up in Bend, Oregon, 3 hours from Portland. Small town, mountains, rivers, clean air. A place where nobody knew my story. I rented a cabin on the Deschutes River. Small, simple, 1 bedroom. A workshop in the back where I could work with my hands again. For the first time in months, I could breathe. The first few weeks were hard. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., heart pounding, convinced someone was in the house. I'd check every room, every window, every lock. No one was there, but the fear remained. Griffin had warned me about this. PTSD doesn't go away just because the threat is gone, he'd said. Your body remembers the danger. It takes time to convince it you're safe. He was right. I started seeing a therapist. Dr. Ann Morrison, mid-50s, kind eyes, no judgment. Tell me about the nightmares, she said in our first session. I dream that I'm drinking coffee. Sarah's watching me, smiling, and I know it's poisoned, but I can't stop drinking. I just keep drinking, and she keeps smiling. What do you think that means? That I'm angry at myself for not seeing it, for trusting her. Are you angry at yourself? Every day. David, you were a victim of a sophisticated con. Sarah had been doing this for decades. You're not stupid for trusting your wife. You're human. I should have seen the signs. What signs? A woman who made you coffee every morning, a brother who came to family dinners, a doctor who treated your symptoms. These are normal things. You had no reason to suspect them. But I did suspect. Toward the end, I felt something was wrong, and I ignored it. Did you ignore it, or did you investigate it? I thought about that. I investigated it. And you escaped. You survived. You stopped them. You're not a victim anymore, David. You're a survivor. The word felt strange. Survivor. I started working with my hands again. Built furniture, tables, chairs, a bookshelf for the cabin. Something about working with wood, seeing raw materials become something useful, something beautiful, was healing. Every cut, every joint, every sanded edge, creating instead of destroying. Emma visited every few weeks. She'd drive down from Seattle on weekends. We'd hike, cook dinner together, talk about everything except Sarah and Marcus. How's school? I'd ask. Good. I'm taking a psychology class. Learning about personality disorders. Is that helpful? Weirdly, yes. Understanding the clinical side of what Mom did. It makes it less personal somehow. How so? Like, she has antisocial personality disorder. Probably narcissistic traits, too. She was wired to manipulate people. It wasn't about me or you specifically. We were just opportunities. Does that make you feel better? A little. It helps to know it wasn't my fault, that there was nothing I could have done to make her love me properly. She did love you, Emma, in her way. No, Dad. She loved the idea of me, the useful daughter, the cover story. But she didn't love me. Not really. I had no argument for that. 3 months into my new life, I got a call from Detective Torres. David, we have a problem. My stomach dropped. What kind of problem? Sarah. She's appealing her sentence. Claims her lawyer provided inadequate counsel, that she was coerced into pleading guilty. That's insane. She allocuted in open court. I know, but her new lawyer, some hotshot from Seattle, is arguing that she was under duress, that Marcus threatened her, that she's actually a victim. You're joking. I wish I was. There's going to be a hearing. You might be called to testify. When? 2 months, maybe 3. I hung up and sat on my porch, staring at the river. It wasn't over. It would never be over. That night I had the worst nightmare yet. I was back in my house, my old house. Sarah was making coffee, but this time when I tried to leave, the doors were locked. The windows wouldn't open. I was trapped, and she just kept smiling, kept stirring the coffee, kept saying,
It's ready, baby. Come drink your coffee. I woke up screaming. Dr. Morrison increased our sessions to twice a week. Your subconscious is processing the news, she explained. The appeal feels like a threat. Your body is responding as if you're in danger again. I am in danger. If she wins the appeal, she won't. The evidence is overwhelming, but your fear isn't logical right now. It's primal. So what do? You face it. You prepare to testify. You tell your story again. And you prove to yourself that she can't hurt you anymore. She can. She's still trying to. No, she's trying to save herself. That's different. She's desperate. Desperate people make mistakes. I hoped she was right. I called Griffin. I heard about the appeal, he said. Don't worry. It's a Hail Mary. No judge is going to overturn a guilty plea with that much evidence. What if they do? They won't. But what if? David, listen to me. Sarah is going to spend the rest of her life in prison. This appeal is her last gasp. Let her thrash around. It won't change anything. I have to testify again. So testify. You've done it before. You can do it again. I don't want to see her. Then don't look at her. Look at the judge. Look at me. Look at Emma. But don't give her the satisfaction of your fear. Emma took the news harder than I expected. I thought it was over, she said. We were hiking near Smith Rock. She'd driven down the moment I told her. Me too. Why can't she just accept her punishment? Why does she have to keep fighting? Because that's who she is. She's a fighter, a survivor, a con artist. She'll never stop trying to win, even when she's already lost. Especially then. We hiked in silence for a while. Then Emma said, Dad, I need to tell you something. What? She wrote to me. From prison. I stopped walking. When? Last month. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd be upset. What did she say? Emma pulled a letter from her backpack, handed it to me. My dearest Emma, I know you hate me. I understand, I hate myself too. But I need you to know something. Everything I did for us. For you and me and Marcus. I wanted us to be a family. A real family. David was never supposed to be part of our lives. He was a mistake, a placeholder. You were always meant to be Marcus's daughter, and mine. And we were always meant to be together. I know you don't understand now, but someday when you're older, you'll see that love makes people do desperate things. I love you, baby girl. I always have. I always will. Please come visit me. Please give me a chance to explain. Mom, I read it twice, 3 times. She's trying to manipulate you, I said finally. I know. She's trying to make you feel guilty, like this is somehow your fault. I know that too. Are you going to visit her? Emma looked at me. Do you think I should? No, but it's not my decision. I don't want to, but part of me feels like I should, like I owe her that. You don't owe her anything. She's still my mother, biologically, but motherhood is more than biology. It's love, care, protection. She didn't protect you, Emma. She used you. I know. Tears welled in her eyes. So why do I still want her to love me? I pulled her into a hug. Because you're a good person, I said. Because you have a capacity for love that she never had. Because you're everything she wasn't. We stood there on the trail, holding each other, while hikers passed by and gave us curious looks. 2 weeks before the hearing, I got another call, this time from Marcus. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. David. His voice was rough, strained. I need to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about. It's about Sarah, about the appeal. I hesitated. What about it? She's lying. She's going to testify that I forced her, that I was abusive, that she was afraid of me. I know. Torres told me. It's not true. You know it's not true. I don't know anything anymore, Marcus. David, please. I know I don't deserve your help, but I'm asking anyway. Will you testify? Will you tell them the truth? What truth? That Sarah was the mastermind, that she planned everything, that I was just a weak idiot who went along with it. You were more than that. You poisoned me too. I know, and I'm paying for it. 15 years. But if Sarah's appeal works, if she gets out, she'll destroy everyone, including Emma. That got my attention. What do you mean? She's already writing to Emma.
trying to manipulate her. If she gets out, she'll never stop. She'll keep trying to control Emma, to use her. Emma's strong. She won't fall for it. Are you sure? Because Sarah is very, very good at what she does. I said nothing. David, I'm begging you. Testify against her. Make sure she stays locked up. Why do you care? You loved her. A long silence. Then, I thought I did. But love doesn't try to kill you. Love doesn't take out secret insurance policies on you. Sarah never loved me. She never loved anyone. And if she gets out, she'll hurt someone else. That's not my problem. But Emma is. And Sarah will hurt Emma if given the chance. He was right. I hated that he was right. Fine, I said. I'll testify. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm not doing it for you. I hung up. The hearing was in Portland. I drove back for the first time since I'd left. The city looked the same, but I felt different. Harder, older, sadder. Emma met me at the courthouse. She'd driven down from Seattle. You ready? She asked. No. You. No. We went inside together. Sarah was already in the courtroom. She'd gained weight. Her hair was longer. She wore a prison-issued outfit, gray instead of orange, trying to look sympathetic. When she saw me, her face lit up. Actually lit up, like she was happy to see me. It made my skin crawl. Her new lawyer, a woman in her 40s, expensive suit, cold eyes, leaned over and whispered something to her. Sarah's smile disappeared. The judge entered. We all stood. This is a hearing to consider the appeal of Sarah Kowalski Chen, the judge said. Miss Chen claims her guilty plea was entered under duress and without adequate legal counsel. We're here to determine if there's merit to that claim. Sarah's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client was coerced into pleading guilty by her co-conspirator, Marcus Chen. She was threatened, afraid for her life. She believed that if she didn't plead guilty, Mr. Chen would harm her daughter, Emma. I felt Emma stiffen beside me. That's a serious accusation, the judge said. Do you have evidence? We have Ms. Chen's testimony, and we have the fact that Mr. Chen is a violent offender with a criminal record. A DUI from 10 years ago is hardly evidence of violence, the prosecutor interrupted. Nevertheless, my client was afraid, and under Oregon law, a plea entered under duress is invalid. The judge looked skeptical. Counselor, your client allocated in open court. She provided detailed testimony about her crimes. She showed no signs of distress. She's a skilled actress, Your Honor. That was self-preservation, not genuine admission. Very well. Call your first witness. The defense calls Sarah Kowalski Chen. Sarah took the stand. She looked directly at me as she was sworn in. Ms. Chen, her lawyer began, tell us about your relationship with Marcus Chen. He was controlling, possessive. I wanted to end things with him multiple times, but he wouldn't let me. Lie. Did he threaten you? Yes, many times. He said if I left him, he'd tell David about Emma. He'd destroy my life. Lie. What about the murder plot? Whose idea was that? Marcus's. He wanted David dead so we could be together. I tried to talk him out of it, but he wouldn't listen. Lie. Did you put poison in David's coffee? Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Yes, but only because Marcus forced me to. He said if I didn't, he'd hurt Emma. Liar. So you were acting under duress? Yes. I was terrified. I just wanted to protect my daughter. I felt physically sick. The prosecutor stood for cross-examination. Ms. Chen, you claim Marcus Chen forced you to poison your husband. Is that correct? Yes. But you also took out a $5 million life insurance policy on David. Was Marcus forcing you to do that too? He made me. Really? Because the insurance agent who sold you the policy says you were alone. Enthusiastic. Asked very specific questions about payout timing and suicide clauses. Sarah's face paled slightly. I was playing along to protect Emma. Right. And the offshore accounts? The properties in Costa Rica? The fake passports? All of that was Marcus forcing you? Yes. Ms. Chen, we have video evidence of you poisoning David. In that video, are you crying, hesitating, showing any signs of distress? I had to hide my feelings. Or perhaps you didn't have any feelings. Perhaps you were simply a woman who wanted money and was willing to kill for it. Objection! Sarah's lawyer jumped up. Sustained! Rephrase, counselor. The prosecutor smiled. Let me ask you this, Ms. Chen. If Marcus was so controlling, so dangerous, why did you write to him from jail calling him the love of your life? We have those letters. Sarah said nothing. And why did you take out a $2 million life insurance policy on him? If he was your abuser, why insure his life? Still nothing. Could it be because you were planning to kill him too, once David was dead and you had the money? No! No further questions, Your Honor. They called me next. I took the stand, put my hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. Sarah's lawyer approached. Mr. Chen, you've suffered a terrible betrayal. You have every reason to be angry. I am angry. Angry enough to lie, to exaggerate Marcus's role and minimize Sarah's to get revenge. I have no reason to lie. The evidence speaks for itself. But you hate my client, don't you? I hate what she did. You want her to suffer. I want her to be held accountable. Isn't it true that you controlled Sarah financially? That she had no access to money without your approval? That's not true. She had full access to all our accounts. But you made more money. You had more power in the relationship. I worked. She chose not to. That's not control. That's division of labor. Did you ever raise your voice to her? Intimidate her? No. Never. Never. Mr. Chen, isn't it possible that Sarah felt trapped? That she saw murder as her only way out? There's always another way. She could have divorced me, left me, told me the truth. Murder wasn't the only option. It was just the most profitable one. The lawyer frowned. No further questions. The prosecutor approached for redirect. Mr. Chen, in your 20 years of marriage, did Sarah ever express fear of you? No. Did she ever try to leave you? No. Did she ever suggest divorce? No. What was your relationship like? I thought it was good, loving, normal. Obviously, I was wrong. When you discovered she was poisoning you, what did you do? I ran. I contacted the police. I gathered evidence. Did you threaten her? No. Did you harm her in any way? No. Did you even confront her before you left? No. I was afraid she'd kill me if I did. The prosecutor nodded. Thank you, Mr. Chen. The judge took a 15-minute recess. When he returned, his face was stern. I've reviewed all the evidence, the videos, the bank records, the letters, the testimony, and I find no credible evidence that Ms. Chen acted under duress. Sarah's face fell. Her claim that Marcus Chen forced her to commit these crimes is not supported by the facts. If anything, the evidence suggests she was the primary actor, the architect of the conspiracy. Your Honor, Sarah's lawyer started. I'm not finished. Ms. Chen, you had multiple opportunities to stop this, to seek help, to tell the truth. Instead, you doubled down. You hired a hitman from jail. You manipulated witnesses. You tried to frame your co-conspirator. Your Honor, please. The appeal is denied. Your guilty plea stands. Your sentence stands. And I'm adding an additional note to your file, recommending that parole be denied. The gavel came down. Sarah screamed, actually screamed. This isn't fair! You're all against me! I was forced! I was threatened! Guards moved in, restrained her. She looked at me. David! David, tell them! Tell them you forgive me! Tell them to let me go! I said nothing, just watched as they dragged her out of the courtroom, still screaming. Outside, Emma and I stood in the gray Portland rain. It's really over now, she said. Right? Yes, I said. It's really over. How do you feel? Empty, relieved, sad, everything and nothing. Yeah, me too. We stood there for a moment. Then Emma said, Dad, I'm not going to visit her. Ever. I've decided. That's your choice. I know. And I choose me. I choose my life. I choose healing over obligation. I hugged her. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. We drove back to Bend together. Emma stayed for a week. We hiked, cooked, talked. We didn't talk about Sarah. We talked about Emma's classes, her friends, her plans for the future. Normal things, beautiful things. And for the first time in a year, I felt something like peace. Not happiness, not yet, but peace. The kind that comes from knowing the worst is over. The kind that comes from surviving something you thought would destroy you. The kind that comes from starting over. 1 year. 365 days since I discovered the pills in the coffee container. 365 days since my life imploded. I marked the anniversary alone in my cabin, watching the sun rise over the Deschutes River. I'd survived. Against all odds, I'd survived. Life in Bend had become normal. I worked in my shop most days, building custom furniture for locals. Word had spread that there was a skilled carpenter in town, and I had more orders than I could fill. I joined a hiking group, met people, made friends who knew nothing about my past. To them, I was just David, a quiet guy who moved to Bend for a fresh start. They didn't need to know why. Emma had flourished. She'd transferred to University of Oregon in Eugene, close enough to visit, far enough to have her own life. She'd changed her major, from pre-med to psychology. I want to understand people, she told me, how they manipulate, how they heal, how they survive. She had a boyfriend now, Jason. Nice kid, computer science major. He treated her well. She brought him to meet me one weekend. Mr. Chen, it's an honor, Jason said, shaking my hand. Call me David. Emma talks about you all the time. Good things, I hope. The best things. We grilled steaks, sat on the porch, talked about normal things. Jason had no idea about Sarah or Marcus or any of it. Emma hadn't told him. Should I? She asked later, after Jason had gone to bed in the guest room. That's up to you. I don't want him to see me differently, as the girl with the murderous mother. Then don't tell him. Not yet. Wait until you're sure he's the one. How will I know? You'll know! Sarah had stopped writing. No more letters. No more attempts to manipulate me or Emma. Griffin checked in occasionally. She's adjusted to prison life, works in the library, keeps to herself. Good. Her lawyer filed another appeal. It was denied. How many appeals does she get? As many as she wants to file, but none of them will work. The conviction is solid. What about Marcus? He's in a minimum security facility, teaches GED classes. By all accounts, he's a model prisoner. Good for him. I didn't think about them much anymore. They were part of my past, not my present. Dr. Morrison and I had reduced our sessions to once a month. You've made remarkable progress, she said in our latest meeting. Have I? You're sleeping better. The nightmares have decreased. You're building relationships. You're creating. These are all signs of healing. I don't feel healed. Healing isn't a destination, David. It's a process. You'll never be the person you were before, but you're becoming someone new. Someone stronger, or someone more broken. Strong and broken aren't mutually exclusive. Some of the strongest people I know are also the most broken. I thought about that. Maybe she was right. 10 months after the appeal hearing, I got an unexpected call from a woman named Patricia Vaughn. Mr. Chen, you don't know me, but I need to speak with you. It's about Sarah. My stomach tightened. What about her? Can we meet? In person? It's important. Something in her voice made me agree. We met at a coffee shop in Bend. Patricia Vaughn was in her 60s. Gray hair, sad eyes. She carried herself like someone who'd seen too much. Thank you for meeting me, she said. I know this is strange. Who are you? I'm Sarah's aunt, Patricia Kowalski's sister, Sarah's mother, the one who died of a drug overdose. I didn't know Patricia had a sister. We were estranged. I tried to get custody of Sarah after Patricia died, but the state wouldn't allow it. I had some legal issues of my own back then. Why are you here? Patricia pulled out a folder. Because I've been watching Sarah's case, and I need you to know the truth about who she really is. I know who she is. A con artist, a murderer. She's more than that. She's a product of her environment. And that environment, it was worse than you know. She opened the folder. Inside were documents, photos, medical records. Patricia wasn't just an addict, Patricia Vaughn said. She was severely mentally ill, schizophrenic, delusional, and violent. She showed me a photo. A little girl, maybe 6 years old. Dark hair, haunted eyes, bruises on her arms. That's Sarah. Patricia abused her, I asked. Constantly, physically, emotionally, psychologically. Sarah grew up in a nightmare. By the time she was 12, when Patricia died, she'd been hospitalized 3 times for injuries her mother inflicted. I felt sick. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to understand. Sarah didn't start out evil. She was made into what she became. That doesn't excuse what she did. No, it doesn't, but it explains it. Patricia showed me more documents. Psychiatric evaluations from when Sarah was in foster care. Attachment disorder, borderline personality traits, lack of empathy, manipulative behavior. The psychologists who examined her said she'd learned to survive by lying, by manipulating, by using people. So you're saying she couldn't help herself? I'm saying she never had a chance. Every adult in her life failed her, including me. Why didn't you fight for custody? I was in prison, Patricia said quietly. Drug charges. By the time I got out, Sarah had already aged out of the system. I tried to find her, but she'd changed her name, disappeared. And now I visit her, once a month. She won't see most people, but she sees me. Why are you telling me this? Patricia looked at me with those sad eyes. Because she asked me to. She wants you to know that she's sorry. Really, truly sorry. Not for herself. For you. For Emma. She tried to kill me. I know. She destroyed my life. I know. And you want me to feel sorry for her. No. I want you to understand her. There's a difference. I left that meeting feeling confused, angry, sad. Understanding someone's background doesn't excuse their actions, but it does complicate the narrative. Sarah wasn't born a monster. She was made into one. Does that matter? I didn't know. That night I called Dr. Morrison. Can trauma turn someone into a monster? I asked. Trauma can affect how the brain develops, especially in childhood. It can impact empathy, impulse control, attachment. So, Sarah couldn't help being what she was? That's not what I said. Trauma explains behavior. It doesn't excuse it. Plenty of people experience horrific childhoods and don't become murderers. But some do. Some do. The difference is choice. At some point, Sarah chose to harm others. She chose manipulation over honesty, violence over vulnerability. She had opportunities to get help, to change. She didn't take them. So, it's still her fault. It's complicated, David. Blame and understanding can coexist. 2 weeks later, I did something I never thought I'd do. I wrote to Sarah. Sarah, your Aunt Patricia came to see me. She told me about your childhood, about your mother, about what you went through. I'm sorry that happened to you. No child deserves that. But you were an adult when you met me. An adult when you chose to lie, to steal, to poison me, to plan my murder. Your childhood explains your damage. It doesn't excuse your choices. I don't forgive you. I probably never will. But I understand you a little better now. I hope you find some kind of peace in prison. I hope you get the help you never got as a child. But I also hope you understand that what you did was monstrous, and that you spend the rest of your life taking responsibility for that. Don't write back. This is closure for me, not an opening for you. David. I mailed it and felt lighter, not healed, but less burdened. Emma and I had dinner that weekend. Dad, I need to tell you something. What? I went to see Marcus. My stomach dropped. When? Last month. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd be upset. I'm not upset. I'm surprised. Why? Because he's my biological father, and I needed to know if there was anything there, any connection. And there isn't. He looks like me, but he's a stranger. He cried, apologized, begged for forgiveness. Did you forgive him? No, but I told him I didn't hate him, that I felt sorry for him, and that I never wanted to see him again. How did he take it? Poorly, but that's his problem, not mine. Are you okay? I'm fine, Dad. Really. I needed closure. Now I have it. As winter turned to spring, I started dating. Her name was Claire, 48 years old, divorced, 2 kids in college. We met at a community pottery class. She made bowls. I made misshapen lumps that were supposed to be vases. She laughed at my attempts. I liked her laugh. "So, what brings you to Ben?" she asked over coffee one day. "Needed a fresh start. Bad divorce. You could say that. Want to talk about it?" "Not really." "Fair enough. I don't like talking about my ex either." We dated casually for 3 months before I told her the truth. We were hiking near Tamalo Falls when I said, "There's something you should know about me. You're secretly a serial killer. Worse, I'm the victim of an attempted murder." She stopped walking. "What?" I told her everything. Sarah, Marcus, Dr. Patel, the poison, the trial. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, "Wow. Yeah, that's a lot." "It is, if you want to stop seeing me." "I understand." She thought about it. Really thought about it. "Do you think your ex-wife will come after you again? She's in prison for 30 years. Do you have PTSD? Probably. Are you in therapy? Yes. Are you dangerous? Not unless you try to poison me." She smiled. "Then I think we're good." We didn't move fast. Claire understood that trust was hard for me. She met Emma after 6 months. They got along immediately. "She's good for you, Dad," Emma said. "She makes you smile. Is that okay with you?" "Of course it's okay. You deserve to be happy." 18 months after the trial, Griffin called with news. Dr. Patel died. How? Heart attack, in prison. He was only 56. I felt nothing. "Good," I said. "That's it? Just good. What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry? I'm not. He tried to kill me." "Fair enough. What about Sarah and Marcus?" "Both still serving their sentences. Both still alive. Both claiming rehabilitation." "Do you believe them?" "I don't believe anything anyone says anymore. This case destroyed my faith in humanity. Welcome to my world." 2 years after everything began, I finally sold the last piece of my old life. My architecture firm, the intellectual property, the client list, everything. The buyer was a young architect from Seattle, talented, ambitious, reminded me of myself 20 years ago. "Why are you selling?" he asked. "Time to move on." "This firm is your legacy." "No," I said. "My daughter is my legacy. The firm is just a business." He didn't understand, but someday maybe he would. The money from the sale went into trusts. For Emma, for her future children, for causes I cared about. Domestic violence prevention, mental health services for foster children, victim advocacy programs. I kept enough to live simply, to build furniture, to hike, to be with Claire. I didn't need more than that. On the 2-year anniversary, Emma and I went back to Portland, not to the house. That was long sold, but to the courthouse. We stood outside, looking up at the building where Sarah had been sentenced. "How do you feel?" Emma asked. "Like I've been carrying something heavy for 2 years and I'm finally ready to put it down." "Yeah, me too." We didn't go inside. We just stood there for a moment. Then we left, got in the car, drove back to Bend, left Portland and everything it represented behind. That night Claire asked me, "Do you still think about her?" "Sarah, sometimes." "Does it still hurt?" "Not the way it used to. Now it's more like looking at a scar. You remember how you got it, but it doesn't hurt anymore." "That's good, is it?" "Sometimes I feel guilty for moving on, like I'm betraying, I don't know, the person I was, the pain I felt." "David, moving on isn't betrayal. It's survival. You're allowed to be happy again." "Am I?" "Yes, you are. But there was one more thing I needed to do. One final piece of the puzzle. Something I'd been avoiding for 2 years. Something that would finally, truly, set me free. And it involved facing Sarah one last time. Not in court, not through letters, but face to face. In prison, because there were questions only she could answer. Questions about the beginning, about how she chose me, about whether any of it, any single moment, had been real. I needed to know, not to forgive her, but to understand. And then, finally, to let go. It took me 3 months to make the decision. 3 months of therapy sessions with Dr. Morrison. 3 months of talking it over with Emma. 3 months of lying awake at night wondering if I was making a mistake. "Why do you need to see her?" Claire asked one evening. We were cooking dinner together in my cabin. "Because there are questions only she can answer." "Like what?" "Like whether any of it was real, even for a moment." "Does it matter?" "It matters to me." Claire stirred the pasta sauce. "You know she's going to lie, right? She's a pathological liar. Whatever she tells you, it won't be the truth." "Maybe, but I need to look her in the eye when she does it. I need to see if there's any humanity left in her. And if there isn't, then at least I'll know." Emma was less supportive. "Dad, why would you do this to yourself? She's poison. Even now, even in prison. I need closure. You have closure. She's locked up. We've moved on. What more do you need? I need to understand why it was me. Why she chose me." Emma was quiet for a long moment. "You think if you understand her reasons, it'll hurt less," she said finally. "Maybe. It won't, Dad. It'll just give her one more chance to hurt you. I'm willing to take that risk." "Why?" "Because right now she lives in my head. Every time I trust someone, I hear her voice. Every time someone is kind to me, I wonder what they really want. I need to exorcise her ghost." "She's not a ghost. She's a person. A terrible person who tried to kill you." "I know, but she's also the woman I loved for 20 years, and I need to know if that woman ever existed, or if I was just in love with a performance." Emma sighed. "Okay, but I'm coming with you. You don't have to. I know I don't have to, but I'm coming anyway, for both of us." We scheduled the visit for a Thursday morning. Oregon State Correctional Institution, a 2-hour drive from Bend. Emma picked me up at 7 a.m. We drove in silence most of the way. As we approached the prison, Emma said, "Dad, promise me something." "What?" "Promise me that whatever she says, you won't believe her." "Not completely. She's spent 30 years lying. She's not going to suddenly start telling the truth now. I promise. And promise me that if it gets to be too much, we can leave. We don't owe her our pain." "I promise that too." The prison was exactly what you'd expect. Gray concrete, barbed wire, guards everywhere. We went through security, metal detectors, pat-downs, paperwork. "Sarah Chen is expecting you," the guard said. "You'll have 30 minutes. You'll be in a supervised visiting room. No physical contact. No passing of items. Understood?" "Understood." They led us down a long corridor, through multiple locked doors, each one clanging shut behind us. Finally, we reached the visiting room. It was small, sterile, a metal table bolted to the floor, plastic chairs, a guard standing in the corner, and Sarah. She looked older. Her hair was completely gray now, cut short. She wore prison-issued clothes, blue scrubs, no makeup, no jewelry, but her eyes were the same, sharp, calculating, always watching. When she saw us, she smiled. That same smile I'd seen 1,000 times over breakfast, over dinner, in bed at night. That smile that had hidden so much. "David," she said. "Emma, you came." Emma said nothing, just stared at her mother with cold eyes. I sat down. Emma sat next to me. Sarah sat across from us, handcuffed, hands resting on the table. "I wasn't sure you'd come," Sarah said. "Neither was I." "But you're here." "I'm here." Silence. Sarah looked at Emma. "You look good, baby. College agrees with you. Don't call me baby. I'm sorry." "Emma, you look good." "I know." More silence. Sarah turned to me. "You look good too, David. Healthy. Happier than I've seen you in years. Turns out not being poisoned agrees with me." She flinched. "Good. I deserved that. You deserve a lot more than that." "I know." The guard shifted his weight, checked his watch. "Why did you come?" Sarah asked. "Not that I'm not grateful, but after everything, why? I need answers." "To what questions?" "All of them, starting with the most important one. Why me? Of all the people you could have targeted, why did you choose me?" Sarah leaned back. "You really want to know? I wouldn't be here if I didn't." She took a breath. You were perfect, successful but not too successful, wealthy but not suspicious, kind but not weak. You had just enough vulnerability. Your father had just died. You were lonely, that I knew I could get close. So, you researched me. Of course I researched you. I always research my marks. How many others were there? Before me? Sarah smiled slightly. You want the real number or the convicted number? The real number. 7. You were number 7. Emma gasped. I felt like I'd been punched. 7. 7. Some were short cons. A few months, steal what I could, disappear. Others were longer. 2 years was my record. Until you. Why was I different? Because you were the big score, the one that would set me up for life. And because, she hesitated, because of Marcus. What about Marcus? I genuinely loved him, or thought I did, which is a first for me. Usually I feel nothing for anyone. But Marcus, he was weak enough to control but devoted enough to be useful. And the fact that he was your brother made it even better. Better how? 2 marks in one. You for the money, him for the muscle, and a built-in alibi. Loving wife worried about her devoted husband, supported by his caring brother. Perfect. I felt sick. So, none of it was real. Not one moment. Sarah tilted her head. I didn't say that. Then what are you saying? I'm saying... She paused, looked directly at me. I'm saying that somewhere in the middle of the con, something happened. Something I didn't expect. What? I started to care about you. A little bit. Not love. I don't think I'm capable of that. But affection. Respect even. Respect! You poisoned me. I know. And I hated doing it. You have no idea how many times I almost stopped. How many times I looked at you across the breakfast table and thought, I can't do this. But you did it anyway. But I did it anyway. Because in the end, money won. It always wins with me. It's the only thing I've ever been able to count on. What about Emma? I asked quietly. Did you ever care about her? Sarah's mask slipped, just for a second. I saw something underneath. Pain. Real pain. Yes, she said, her voice cracking. Emma was the one thing I didn't plan for. The one variable I couldn't control. She looked at Emma, tears forming in her eyes. When you were born, something in me broke. Or maybe something in me healed. I don't know, but for the first time in my life, I felt something real. Something that wasn't just survival or manipulation. I loved you. Emma's face was stone. Then why did you do it? Why did you try to kill Dad? Because I'm broken, Emma. I've been broken since I was a child. And broken people do terrible things. Even to the people they love. That's not an excuse. No, it's not. It's an explanation. There's a difference. Silence filled the room. The guard shifted again. 10 minutes, he said. David, Sarah said, can I ask you something? What? Do you ever miss me? Not the real me, but the me you thought I was. The woman you were married to for 20 years. I thought about it. Really thought about it. Every day, I said honestly. I miss her every day. I miss my wife who made me coffee in the morning, who laughed at my jokes, who held my hand at movies. I miss her terribly, but she never existed. No, she never did. I'm sorry for that, David. Truly. You deserved a real wife, a real marriage, a real life. Yes, I did. Emma, Sarah said, turning to her daughter, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to, but I need you to know something. What? Everything I did, every lie, every crime, every terrible choice, none of it was your fault. You are the only purely good thing I ever created. And I'm so proud of you. Emma's lip trembled, but she didn't cry. I don't need your pride. I don't need your approval. I don't need anything from you. I know, but I'm giving it anyway. 5 minutes, the guard said. There's one more thing, I said. One more question. What? That first night, at the bar, when we met, you smiled at me, touched my hand, told me I had kind eyes. Was any of that real? Or was it all part of the con, from the very first second? Sarah looked at me for a long moment. You really want to know? Yes. It was part of the con. Every word, every gesture, every smile. I'd practiced it in the mirror before I left my apartment that night. The words hit like bullets. But strangely, I felt relief, because now I knew it had never been real, not for 1 second, and somehow that made it easier. Thank you, I said. For what? For telling me the truth, finally. Does it help? More than you know. We stood to leave. David, Sarah called out. Wait. I turned. I know it doesn't matter. I know it changes nothing. But for what it's worth, she took a breath. I'm sorry. I'm truly, genuinely sorry for what I did to you. To Emma. To everyone. Are you sorry you did it? Or sorry you got caught? She smiled sadly. Honestly? A little bit of both. At least she was being honest. Emma and I walked out of that prison into the bright Oregon sunshine. We stood in the parking lot for a moment, just breathing. How do you feel? Emma asked. Lighter, I said. Like I just set down a weight I've been carrying for 2 years. Me too. Do you believe her? About caring about you? Emma thought about it. I think she believes it. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. And I've decided I don't care. That's healthy. I learned it from you. We got in the car. As we drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror. The prison got smaller and smaller, until it disappeared completely. That night back in Bend, I had dinner with Claire. How did it go? She asked. She told me the truth. All of it. None of it was real. Not one moment. How do you feel about that? Strangely, free. For 2 years I've been wondering if there were real moments mixed in with the lies. If maybe she'd actually loved me for a little while. Now I know she didn't, and that clarity is freeing. So, you got what you needed. I got what I needed. Claire reached across the table, took my hand. I love you, she said. It was the first time either of us had said it. I love you too, I replied, and I meant it. For the first time in 2 years I said those words and meant them completely. 3 months later, Emma graduated from college. I sat in the audience, watching her walk across that stage. She'd changed her major one final time, to social work. I want to help people who've been conned, she told me, who've been betrayed, who've lost everything and need to rebuild. Like us. After the ceremony we had dinner. Emma, Jason, Claire, and me. A family. Not the family I'd planned. Not the family I'd thought I had, but a real family. An honest family, a family built on truth. That night, Claire and I sat on my porch, watching the stars. Do you ever think about what you'd say to Sarah if you could see her again? Claire asked. I don't need to see her again. I said everything I needed to say. But if you could, one more time, what would you say? I thought about it. I'd thank her. Thank her. For what? For showing me what I don't want. What I won't accept. What I'll never tolerate again. She destroyed my life, but in doing so, she taught me what a real life looks like, and it looks nothing like what I had with her. That's very evolved of you. No, it's just survival. If I spend the rest of my life hating her, she wins. She gets to live in my head forever, but if I use what she did to me to build something better, then I win. And have you built something better? I looked at her. At this woman who'd taken a chance on a broken man with a terrible past. Yeah, I said. I think I have. 6 months later, I proposed to Claire. Not with a big gesture, not with a fancy ring, just a simple question on a hike near Broken Top Mountain. Will you marry me? She said yes. We got married in a small ceremony by the river. Emma was my best man. Claire's kids were there, a few close friends. No family drama. No hidden agendas, no lies, just 2 people who'd both been broken by their past, choosing to build a future together. On our wedding night, Claire asked, do you think about her? About Sarah? Sometimes, but less and less. She's becoming a memory instead of a presence. Good, because I need you here, present, with me. I am, I promise. And I meant it. 2 years after the prison visit, I received a letter. From Marcus. I almost threw it away without reading it.
But something made me open it. David, I don't expect a response. I don't deserve one. but I'm writing because my therapist says I need to take accountability. Really take it. Not just in court, but to you, personally. What I did was unforgivable.
I betrayed you in every possible way. Brother, partner, friend. I stole from you, lied to you, tried to kill you. There's no excuse. My childhood wasn't as bad as Sarah's. I wasn't abused. I wasn't traumatized. I was just weak, jealous, greedy. You were always the successful one, the smart one, the good son, and I resented you for it. When Sarah came into my life and offered me a chance to have what you had, I took it, without thinking about the cost. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know that's impossible. I'm just saying I'm sorry, and I'm trying to be better, for whatever that's worth. Emma came to see me a year ago. Did she tell you? She said she didn't hate me, that she felt sorry for me. That was more grace than I deserved. I hope you found happiness, bro. I really do. You deserve it. Marcus. I read the letter twice. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I wrote back, Marcus, I got your letter. Thank you for the apology. It doesn't change anything, but it's something. I'm not sure I'll ever fully forgive you. The wound is too deep. But I don't hate you anymore. Hate takes energy I'd rather spend on better things. I hope prison is teaching you something. I hope you're becoming a better person. Not for me, but for yourself. Don't write again. This is closure for both of us. David Emma asked me about it later. Why did you respond? You didn't have to. Because carrying anger is exhausting. And because Marcus, for all his faults, at least has the capacity for remorse. Sarah doesn't. That makes him less dangerous, less monstrous, just sad. Do you think he meant it? The apology. I think he believes he means it. Whether he actually does, time will tell. Are you going to stay in touch with him? No, that chapter is closed, but I needed to end it properly, with intention, not with rage. 5 years after the trial, I received news. Sarah had died. Cancer. It had spread quickly. She refused treatment. She just wanted it to be over. Patricia Vaughn told me over the phone. She was tired of prison, tired of living with what she'd done, tired of everything. Did she say anything? At the end, she asked me to tell you and Emma that she was sorry, one last time, for whatever that's worth. Thank you for letting me know. I hung up and sat there for a long time, feeling nothing. No sadness, no relief, no anger, just emptiness. Sarah was gone. The woman who'd defined a decade of my life, who'd almost ended my life, gone. I told Emma that evening. How do you feel? She asked. I don't know. How do you feel? Sad, not for her, but for what could have been. If she'd been different. If she'd gotten help. If she'd made different choices. Yeah, me too. Should we go to the funeral? Is there going to be one? Patricia said she'd arrange something small. Do you want to go? Emma thought about it. No. I said goodbye to her years ago. I don't need to say it again. Neither do I. We didn't go to the funeral, but I did plant a tree. In my backyard, a dogwood. It blooms white flowers every spring. Not for Sarah, but for the man I used to be. The one who trusted completely, who loved without reservation, who believed in the goodness of people. That man died the day I found the pills in the coffee. The tree is his memorial. Today, I'm 60 years old. It's been 8 years since I discovered Sarah's betrayal. 8 years since my life fell apart. 8 years since I learned that everything I believed was a lie. I've been married to Claire for 6 years. Happy years, real years. Emma is married now too, to Jason. They have a daughter, my granddaughter. They named her Rose, not after anyone, just because they liked the name. I hold her sometimes and think about what Sarah missed. The joy of watching Emma grow up into a remarkable woman. The joy of grandchildren. She traded all of that for money, and in the end, she died alone in a prison cell, with nothing. Marcus is still in prison. He has 7 more years on his sentence. Emma writes to him occasionally. Not often, but sometimes. He's still my biological father, she explains. I can't change that, but I can choose how much space he takes up in my life. I respect that. I still build furniture, still hike, still watch the sunrise over the Deschutes River every morning, but now I do it with gratitude. Gratitude that I survived. Gratitude that I rebuilt. Gratitude that I found real love after experiencing fake love.
People ask me sometimes, how did you get through it? How did you survive? And I tell them the truth. One day at a time, one choice at a time, one moment at a time. You don't heal all at once. You heal in pieces. You wake up one morning and realize you slept through the night without nightmares. You have coffee without thinking about poison. You trust someone and they don't betray you. And slowly, piece by piece, you become whole again.
Not the same person you were, but someone stronger, someone wiser, someone who understands that darkness exists but chooses light anyway. Claire asked me recently, if you could go back and change it, prevent Sarah from ever entering your life, would you? I thought about it for a long time. No, I said finally. No, because then I wouldn't have Emma. I wouldn't have you. I wouldn't have this life, this real, honest, beautiful life. Even with all the pain? Even with all the pain. Because the pain taught me something. It taught me that I'm stronger than I thought, that I can survive anything. That love, real love, is possible, even after betrayal. Last week, I visited Dr. Morrison for what might be our final session. How are you doing, David? She asked. I'm good. Really good. No nightmares. Not in 6 months. No trust issues. Some, but manageable. What changed? I stopped seeing potential betrayal in everyone, started seeing it for what it was, a specific trauma from specific people, not a blueprint for humanity. That's significant growth. I have a good therapist, she smiled, and a good support system, and good instincts. You did the work, David. You get the credit. So, are we done? Is this it? That's up to you. How do you feel? I feel like I finally made it to the other side. Then yes, I think we're done. But my door is always open if you need me. Tonight I sit on my porch with Claire. Emma and Jason are visiting with little Rose. I can hear them inside, laughing, playing, living. And I think about Sarah, about the woman who tried to destroy me. And I realize she failed. She took 20 years of my life. She took my brother. She took my trust. But she didn't take my ability to love, to hope, to heal. She didn't break me. She bent me, bruised me, nearly killed me. But I survived. And in surviving, I won.
So if you're reading this, if you're someone who's been betrayed, conned, hurt by someone you loved, know this. You can survive it. You can rebuild. You can trust again. It won't be easy. It won't be quick. It won't be painless. But it is possible. Because broken things can be put back together. They'll never be exactly what they were before. But sometimes they're even stronger. The sun is setting over the mountains. Claire's hand is in mine. My daughter is laughing with her husband and child. And I am at peace. Finally, truly, completely at peace. This is my life now, the real one, the one built on truth instead of lies. The one Sarah could never take from me. Because in the end, the best revenge isn't hatred, it's healing. It's happiness. It's living well despite everything they did to you. And I am living well. After everything, against all odds, I am living well. The end. Epilogue. 10 years after Sarah's death, I received an envelope in the mail from Patricia Vaughn. Inside was a letter and a photograph. The letter read, David, I'm sorting through Sarah's things, the items the prison sent me after she died. I found this photograph. I thought you should have it, not because you need closure, but because you deserve to know that somewhere, in some small way, she remembered what she'd lost. Best, Patricia. The photograph was old, faded, worn at the edges. It was me and Sarah, on our wedding day, 25 years ago. On the back, in Sarah's handwriting, the only day I wish had been real. I looked at that photograph for a long time.